Nice gap to the upside here so far this morning for not only the Nasdaq, tech stocks right across the board showing all kinds of strength. As if you missed it, Trump waves the white flag, kind of, basically exempting not only cell phones, smartphones across the board, computer products, semiconductors, basically everything. So you just saw the Nasdaq there. I mean, all the individual names looking very similar. Apple just took out the highs. Yeah. 6.5% right now for Apple back to the upside. Nvidia 3.1% currently trying to get back to highs. Going to be all about tech to start things off. Meta, I mean, there's a couple other headlines that we'll talk about for Meta. I'm sure not as positive right now, but definitely nice gap to the upside. What a weekend.
Beautiful weather. I don't know. I thought you were setting me up with a line there. Yeah, fantastic weekend. Beautiful weather, beautiful news. If you're invested long in these markets, Donald Trump, well, actually, I think it came out on Friday vis-a-vis the Customs Department that they were putting the kibosh on tariffs out of China, specifically for, smartphones, NVIDIA or microchips, etc. So we'll keep an eye out on that. We're already getting a nice move up. Lots to talk about today. Brendo, Pfizer in focus. They've discontinued their one-a-day GLP-1 drug. MicroStrategy's back to buying Bitcoin. Surprise, surprise there. Tesla with an over-the-air upgrade with a lot of new features. I'm kind of pumped about that. And then Bull?
Yeah,
Weebull.
About that.
About that. Yeah.
We'll touch on Weebull coming up here as well. Yeah, nice move. I mean, it was all, like you were saying, after the close. Right. And then this morning, it's up massively. So we'll talk about Weebull coming up here. I was just going to double check. You and I were just talking about that MicroStrategy thing. It was like 3,200. So Michael Saylor in there buying the dip anyway for Bitcoin with both hands. Once again, it was like 3,200 additional Bitcoin over the past couple of weeks here. There's Alphabet as well, struggling a little bit at that high from the big up day going back, I guess it was Wednesday of last week. Thursday, Friday, kind of a chop fest, but 1.3 here, back to 160 for Google. So all of tech showing all kinds of strength here to start things off. I mean, Sean, you messaged on Saturday morning with this news headline, and I kind of shook my head at first and said, really? Is that even true? And then here we are. I mean, where do you even start?
Hey, buy tech. That's where you start.
Yeah, I don't know. What's up, everybody? Hope everyone had a great weekend. Yeah, no, I mean, people know about these things before they're going to happen. I mean, you saw a huge move up in Apple Thursday, Friday, and then boom, this news comes up. But I was just saying to these guys, like, that Masters, like, it just makes you, like, no wonder why live sports is so expensive and how it's costing. Like, the NHL just re-upped here in Canada for double the price, and NBA has a huge price tag on it. And, what they pay for, Amazon pays for Thursday night and Sunday night and all this kind of stuff. And then you sit there yesterday, I don't know how many millions of people were watching that.
Drama.
But it's just amazing. And then so that topped off a great weekend. The Leafs played really well. It was good, man. We lost our UFC fight, thanks Joe.
Yeah, he's not here yet.
Where's Joe at?
He's not here yet, but our boy.
Volkanovski or whatever. Yeah, there he is. Yeah, what's up, Joe? Where's that call now?
He got some good shots in, but our dude was getting his butt taken to the ground and ground and pound and beat down. No, but that, like, the Grand Slam is it's just one of those, like, super impressive feats. Shout out to Tori. I was at my parents watching the end with my dad and my uncle.
Yeah.
So everyone kind of gets into it. Erin, not so much. She likes golf on the Wii a little bit better. It's not the Wii. It's like the
Switch.
The Switch.
Yeah.
It's the Wii.
Mario Golf.
It's the Wii Sports on the Switch.
Yeah.
Whatever you call it. I don't know, but like the market looks great. I mean, what are you gonna say? Like whether these exemptions are long lasting, or this is the last news we hear, probably neither of those things true, but it doesn't matter when you've been beaten up so bad. Like Apple was 160 something a couple days ago, and now we're staring over 200 back in the face. It's just, this is the market we're in. So if you bought recently, I can't say that I bought any Apple. You're absolutely winning for sure. When you look at things, I think we could run into some selling if we get like too high, but yeah, it's hard not to have a smile on your face with the way the market's looking. Nice little 2-point day already there for the Nasdaq, led by Apple, but don't sleep on the chip names. Micron's up 5 points, Nvidia's up 3%, ARM, like all these chip names are looking real strong too.
Yeah, and then we didn't even, Neil and I we just talked about Weebull right there. And we're like, what? Weebull even, I didn't even realize that this was a SPAC. This even happened here on Friday. So it's just up 110%. So it's
nothing.
You know, like, I don't mind this kind of profit over one day, but, you know, maybe let it run, get a little higher. No, $34, $35. Watch out for Weebull. We'll find out some more details about, you know, shares outstanding and whatnot. But here we go. Weebull, like, I don't know if it's another Robin Hood type of thing here, but there it goes. Nice move to the upside there. Weebull. Good day for that. All right. Yeah, we're going to have Michael Noss coming through. You know what I didn't look at yet, though, today? I didn't look at gold. Is that up as well? The Nasdaq almost up 2%. Yeah, the Nasdaq almost up 2%, so gold turning around the other way. We had that huge move in bonds. We talked about TLT a little bit. Whoopsies. On Friday. So that with another move here today, this morning. You don't see this move too often, but there it goes. Nicely done, down to 86, making that move. The DXY, the UUP, the US dollar has been pretty weak. I was just looking over Canada now 138. It was 144 CAD to USD, but you can see what's been happening here to the mighty US dollar as it was just $30, $31 down to 27 and change. So yeah. I don't know what stock people were holding the most over the weekend, but Palantir, you know, you knew that if the market was going to rally a little bit, this name was going to go. We've seen so many huge moves on this. Up 6% goes PLTR. So, yeah, boom goes a dynamite on that one. But, yeah, lots of interesting things there. So, yeah, Masters. What else is going on? What else is going on with you? Any maple syrup talk?
That's well, what's crazy is my in-laws had to give up. Like, because of the yo-yo. Like
the weather?
Dude, the trees have been there's so much sap that they just said, forget it, and they just stopped on this weekend.
There's just too much maple syrup?
We're not even doing it, because it's a lot of work.
Are they not doing it at all?
No, they stopped. They were doing it, they've been doing it for the last few weeks now, but...
Oh, okay.
So it's a good year for maple syrup. No, but this weekend was fantastic. We did Can we hook up production?
Yeah, with some maple syrup.
We'll see what we get. See what we can bring
There's so much they had to stop, Fabian.
All right.
Come on, son. We'll get you guys some. We'll get you guys some. No, but like this, obviously it's Easter next weekend. We're smart because there's like a farm that does like a big Easter thing, like up north, just north of us. We went this weekend instead of next weekend, which would be an absolute. And it was still a zoo, absolute zoo. But it was good fun. And
speak about good fun. The fun never stops with this man around town here.
It's the orange, not the banana.
Ooh.
Okay.
Just pretty good. I saw the banana over there. That was good. What's up, Randy?
Everything's up.
How goes the weekend? Yeah. Did you watch any golf or?
Did not. My car.
Ooh, cleaning your car. Is the car being traded in soon or what? I know you're looking for another ride. Randy's car has a lot of miles on it. Like me.
There it is.
So.
What's this thing for?
I don't know.
I don't know. I think you turn it on.
Yeah, a little spring detailing.
You
get rid of the salt and the sand. Had Miami Beach in my car.
That was
interesting.
Nice.
I was gonna say. How about the backyard? That all cleaned up yet or not yet? No.
Work in progress.
Yeah.
And
the weather looks good. I mean, it's 14 degrees here today.
Yeah.
Should be nice.
Almost shorts weather. Jorts.
You letting the beard grow out?
You think?
No, you better shave that, my guy.
It's the crumb collector.
You gotta keep
the flavor
know.
saver.
You're gonna get like
give it a nice
Michael.
little
You're gonna get like
trim.
Michael
You're
Noss.
good.
You know how long is it gonna go? You have a certain time?
Not that, no. This is you know
I
why it's
know.
here. Yeah,
but do you have a time frame for it? No. Okay. Just until the wife tells you to shave it, I think is what's gonna wind up happening.
Well, there's that.
That's how it always goes.
It's going to be Maple Leafs versus Ottawa, by the way. That looking more and more likely. So the Battle of Ontario happens here in the NHL.
Yeah, that won't be hype here at all. Not even a little bit.
So I got the NHL the hat on.
They cleaned up in Carolina. It was good.
Yeah.
I like to welcome Bianca.
Hi, Bianca.
Bianca's in the building. So we have a new social media employee, I guess, here from visiting us from lovely Budapest.
Budapest.
We hit our sirens up.
That's where I'll be next month.
Neil's going to Budapest next month. Lucky guy. Hey, Ramin, how's it going,
You haven't
Ramin?
done Budapest yet, have you?
No, I mean, I've been there back in the day when we were starting.
Years ago, yeah.
Yes. All right. Well, Bianca, meet Randy. I'm sorry about that. There goes Randy over there to... we would love a coffee.
No, we absolutely
Bianca,
don't
you want a coffee, Bianca, or anything? No.
Brendan's trying to get her on.
This is going well. Okay, let's go back over to the desk. We've got, I mean, Sharif just looks, I mean, look at it. I mean, that shirt.
The stash.
Man,
The lack of beard, though, I don't know. That I don't know about. You gotta
It's not coming back, baby.
Ooh.
I know, it's not coming back.
Oh, Sharif, by the way, I did start a rumor when you were off last week, and it was like, I think Sharif. Yeah, well, the week before. Yeah, I said that you would come with a different facial, but no, you kept it real. I like the mustache, though.
There's only so many options, though, Sean. It's either a beard, you know, maybe I can go a goatee a little bit.
Oh, yeah, like a little.
Yeah, we can do that. Some 90s look there, you know.
Yeah, well, it's almost been 6 to 8 months, I think, just with that, hasn't it? Mustache.
Yeah, it's going on a year, Sean.
Easily.
Can you believe it? Time flies in this job like that.
I cannot believe it. Time flies so much. All right, let's go back over and start talking stock.
The center of our conversation so far this
Whatever.
Monday. Intel to sell 51% Altera stake to Silver Lake. That just came across, so there was a little bit of a move there for Intel up to 21. Came right back in. I mean, a lot of these coming right back in right now. Apple was another one coming back in a little bit here. So we'll keep an eye on things. If you go back to last week, one of the themes seemed to be any kind of bounce was sold heavily.
Oh, yeah.
Depending on when it happened. Typically, if it was a pre-market type rally that we saw, it was sold off as soon as the market opened. So we'll see how this holds up. I mean, definitely some fundamental differences between now and then. Well,
tech's definitely in focus, and microchips especially, Brendo. So good that you bring up Intel there, because one of the exemptions for the electronics from tariffs is obviously microchips. NVIDIA will be in focus, AVGO, Broadcom will be in focus. We'll keep a look on ARM as well as Intel. Intel had a very aggressive down move last week, and it got short sale restricted, but it was able to almost par all those losses. So we dropped about 10%. Neil can verify this for me, but I think we ended up closing about 1% or so negative. So good look from there, but no really response from China with respect to that pause on tariffs. So waiting to hear something from them. Yeah, I mean, they did say after that last one last week that they weren't going to do anything else, because it just gets to a point where it's kind of ridiculous. Michael Noss is joining us. We'll get to him in a second here. He wants to talk about bonds today. It'll be exciting. We'll make it exciting, because, I mean, there is a lot tied into what's happening in the overall market with this interest rate story going into what should be a pretty interesting couple of weeks here ahead of the Fed. Yeah, and we've talked about this many times, you and I, about the intentions of the administration wanting to get the interest payments on the yields a little bit lower. It helps with the balance sheet. You've got Doge trying to take care of the actual fiscal side of things when it comes to the monetary side and the actual interest on debt payments and treasuries. That was the intention of the administration, to get that 10-year down. It was very volatile last week, though. I mean, we saw a less than 4 print, and then I think we moved up to about 4.4. You can verify that. So it was quite an aggressive, volatile move last week. Yeah, you don't see that. It's just a full basis point move in the matter of 24 hours or so is just unheard of for those markets. Yeah, let's bring them in, guys, whenever you are ready. Happy Monday, Mr. Noss. This will be there'll be a lot of attention, I think, in the next couple of weeks here on the way that these markets, react to some of the things that have happened in the equity market specifically. U.S. government has to refinance a ton of debt here going into the latter part of this year. So what are you seeing?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, we're going to talk about bonds. I made a joke in the email. I should have found a funny hat or something, because I know bonds are the most boring thing to potentially trade, but I think this is really important. So I think the first slide will show, hopefully capture some attention about why. A lot of people think the stock market's big. Turns out the bond market is 10 times, about $1 quadrillion, which I had to Google to make sure it was a real number, not one my 3-year-old made up. But yeah, we have $1 quadrillion in bonds, and I think that explains what's going on in the market right now. There we go. Jeez. So everything that's not the black area is some sort of bond. It's credit, it's debt, it's rates, it's something like that. So just ignore everything, and just that little black area, that's equities. Now, equities are generally more interesting to trade because they move more, so they make more money, they return higher because they're riskier, all that kind of stuff. But I just wanted to show that the global bond market is quadrillion dollars, right? Which is 1,000 trillion. So I learned something while doing that. So that's why this is so important, right? The big guys trade bonds. A lot of smaller people, smaller people up to trillions of dollars will trade equities. The big guys, countries, they care about bonds. So the reason we're going to talk about bonds today is because I think this tells the story about why the tariffs are being brought back, why everything's kind of, being folded on for now, and gives us a level that we could watch to say, okay, if bonds continue to go to this level again, maybe there'll be more concession on tariffs, maybe we'll pull back as well. Because I really think, again, bonds were the reason that we had that massive 10% rally and again, the backing off of tariffs. So next chart I have here is another interesting one. This just shows who holds the bonds, right? And a lot of, I've heard a lot of people go, oh yeah, it's China owns all the bonds when it comes to the US. But here's just a breakdown of countries of who owns bonds. So you can see that there's a lot of different countries out there that own, specifically US debt, that own the US debt. Now, a couple of reasons that a lot of countries do this. One is Japan, for example, is the largest holder of US debt with over $1 trillion in US debt. A couple of reasons they own it. One is they yield more than the Japanese markets, right? Japanese markets are historically 0 to negative rates. So if they buy a bunch of debt from the US, they can make money there. It's also an FX hedge, right? If you're selling things to America, you want to make sure that you own some of their debt so that you're hedged in your currency, kind of completely falling apart by, again, owning some of these markets as well. But the most important thing is to show that everybody out there holds a whole bunch of U.S. debt. Again, it's considered the safest because, right, the largest economy in the world, the largest army in the world, so far, right, and no defaults and things like that. So it makes sense that if you want to hold debt, you go to the U.S. and you hold some debt and you make some money doing that. Now, the reason that's important leads us into the next chart. So the red line is rates, right? So the 10-year rate, you don't need to know the absolute numbers, but the 10-year rate of return on these bonds. And then the blue line is the bonds themselves, the bond price. So for those who don't know how bonds work, is essentially the lower the bond price, the higher the yield, and yes, vice versa. So it means that if you are to issue new debt, you are going to have to issue new debt at a higher rate if bonds collapse. Now, the bigger and the most important thing to note here is that if rates get too high, the government essentially won't have anybody to buy their debt, because it means that if they're selling debt and they're selling debt at, let's use a ludicrous number, 10%, then all of a sudden they have to pay out so much money just to service that debt. So this is why part of the goal of the Trump administration stated has been to lower these rates, because then they can lower the rates, they pay less of what it is that the government makes into debt. So what we saw, and the final chart here is just of the bonds. So what we saw going into the arrow there, which was when the decision for the tariffs was basically rescinded across the country, except for China, we all know the story, was the debt market was absolutely collapsing. So as we know now, with the debt market collapsing, it means that the yields were going through the roof. So it would get very, very expensive for the U.S. to service this debt. It also means that not just the U.S. government, but it means businesses. If you're opening a business to build houses or something like that, if rates are super high and you're trying to get debt in order to build the house, to sell the house, to pay off the debt, it brings down profit margins. So for everybody across the board, the higher the rates, the slower the economic activity. It's why they raise rates to begin with, is to bring down economic activity so that inflation goes down. See, I know a lot of this macroeconomic stuff, even though I don't think it makes us money most of the time. So what happened is the debt market collapsed, and we don't know exactly why. There's all of these rumors out there that it was kind of a bit of Japan, a bit of Canada, some coordinated action where they were selling down their debt in order to cause the bonds to tank, cause interest rates to spike, and then to make them collapse, because if this gets too bad, you would have to back off of the tariff thing. So what does all of this kind of rant mean is we don't know exactly what caused the bonds to go down. It could have been hedge funds blowing up. It could have been other countries, doing this kind of coordinated sell. It could have just been Japan, because Japan owns so much debt. But it kind of showed us the uncle point. So if the bonds, and TLT is a great thing to watch, if they start to sell off again, I would expect the government to come out and start to do things to prop up this, and this could mean lowering rates from the Fed. It could mean the government starting to buy back bonds. It could be the rescind of more tariffs. But I think the main point is that we need to look at not what the equity market does. Didn't seem to care that the equity market was down 20%. It's when the bond market started to crumble. That's when that was the uncle point. So you watch this. I'm going to keep an eye on it around 88, 85 on the TLT. And you just watch that area. So if that area starts to get violated and we start to sell off again, for me, that's where I'm going to start to look for bounces in the overall market, because again, it shows that the economic incentives could slow. It also shows that the government is going to have a hard time servicing this debt and issuing new debt, and a lot of bad things happen. So essentially, bond market sells off, really, really bad for the economy. Whatever caused that bond market to collapse, if that's going to continue, then I think that's going to be really, really important to watch for the market, because the government's going to have to do something. So even though it's boring, I think it's very important, at least for the next little bit. We all have our eyes glued on the bond market.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great point, and not boring at all in this equity market and these conditions that we're actually dealing with right now. Actually very important here. I mean, you're the technical guy. To me, we're almost right back down there again. Like this could even happen today or tomorrow if we start to see a little bit of volatility. I was reading a couple of things on Sunday or late Sunday yesterday, specifically that this move with tech and some of these exemptions was just another try at getting this to go in the opposite direction. And again, it all comes back to they got to refinance this debt at some point.
Yeah, and the scale, I think, and that's what was very important with that first chart. A lot of people don't understand the scale of the debt market, and the debt market just being, 10 times the equity market. So the equity market can completely collapse. As long as the credit market is holding up, then the economy is doing okay. I didn't go into credit spreads, and there's all kinds of crazy stuff that we look at to kind of look at the healthy economy. But all of that was signaling huge red flags. And I think that, again, that was the uncle point. So, yeah, I think we just watch this, and I think you're right. The concessions on the weekend, I think the next probably thing to do is to start browbeating Jay Powell again to try to lower rates. But whatever they can do to keep the bond market alive, because if the equity market goes down a bit, it will come back. If the bond market sells off, I was listening to one economist on the weekend that he said if the bond market continued to collapse, it would have made 2008 look like a walk in the park, which is very scary words for an economist.
Yeah, not good. Definitely more to come on this. Early days, I think, as far as not only these markets, but the outcome as far as the equity side of things is concerned as well. Great stuff, Michael Noss. We'll see you again after the close.
I'll talk to you then.
Looking forward to it, Michael. Look at that. Little bit of economics talk there. Remember, everybody, money is debt. So the foundation of our entire monetary system in the world is based upon debt, and that's why the credit market is so ridiculously big. That's why it mattered so much. I'd be in the camp that says that the exemptions had something to do with the bond market anyways, but we care about the actions more than anything else. So I think we've been talking about looking at the VIX, obviously, and with that back down in the 30s, I think the levels coming up in TLT are going to be important as well, or just keeping an eye on yields in the general sense. It will be a good place to go to, because if we start falling down there again, it's like what lever could also get pulled to try to have us bounce. I don't know if we're going to get anything from the Fed. But yeah, I tend to think that we got what we wanted in terms of these exemptions because of that. So hopefully we can ride a little bit of that wave, and it does calm things down just a little bit.
Yeah, no, apparently Carney, the smartest man in the room there, sort of orchestrated some of that selling there and did create President Trump to go on there and talk about the equity markets getting a little yippy there. And then he saw Jamie Dimon talk about the same kind of thing there. So, yeah, definitely forcing hand, and glad Michael took the time to discuss some of that with us here, because we always just talk about equity markets, but there obviously is the dog that wags the tail, and where that money's coming from is a much bigger space. And he had just mentioned there 100 quadruple billion or something like that was the market cap of fixed income there. Huh?
What was that?
Hello? For the bond market there. But okay, yeah, thanks, Michael. Again, not going to try to repeat what he was saying. If you want to rewind it, go back there. Some very, very interesting infographics and whatnot as well. Go follow Michael Noss. We want to thank him for coming through every single day. Nasdaq pushing up now 2%.
Yeah,
so what a great morning it's been so far. Hopefully you went long into the weekend, but if you didn't, doesn't mean that you're wrong, because this market could easily fall back in on a tweet, on a note, on anything like that. Nah, the market won't be too volatile, I don't think, this week. Heading into earnings, of course, we got some good bank numbers.
Oh, good from Goldman this morning.
Yeah, Goldman up over 3%. It looks like last week we had Morgan not only up 1% or so, and then WFC down. It looks like all the banks trying to battle back here today on great equity trading by Goldman Sachs. And again, yeah, as the volatility comes through, that's what we were saying. I mean, it's been a good couple of days, weeks around here. So stuff moving around. Bitcoin 85,000 now as well, as that continues to work on the high side. All right, let's go find out from Adara what's been upgraded and or downgraded.
Something you can eat was upgraded.
Yummy.
That's right. Apple here pushing to the upside with a upgrade from KeyBank Capital Management. This name has certainly been on watch as of late due to its potential impact from tariffs. So great look for it this morning. Peloton getting upgraded this morning by Deutsche Bank. Then we have DuPont getting an upgrade from KeyBank, and Infosys up about 2% with a Susquehanna upgrade. The downgrade side of things, Comcast in this communication space getting downgraded by Wells Fargo. Hyatt with a downgrade here from Goldman Sachs. Wayfair, which has been super volatile as of late with these tariff announcements, getting an upgrade today from downgrade from Deutsche Bank. And last but not least, Stellantis up on the day, but getting downgraded by UBS. And be aware, Stellantis actually having their annual general meeting tomorrow. Back to you.
Well, I don't think anyone's surprised at the Apple upgrade. Like that one, of course. Yeah. That makes total sense. Peloton? Talking about Peloton? Those guys got upgraded? I'm a little surprised by that. But I'm actually also surprised that the stock is most of the smaller names that we've looked at recently. It's like if you haven't peered at it in a while or peeked at it in a while, it's really, really nasty. I'm surprised Peloton's actually still at $5. Someone's still buying it in this range. It didn't even make a fresh low. Everything about this in the last little rundown that we had, you think would put it under a little bit more pressure. But yeah, it seems like it's catching a little bit of a bid here. Now, I can't say that I'm a huge fan, but the last time it ramped from $5, it actually gave yourself a little bit of a double up. I don't know if it's worth. There's no volume on it today, but this gets back above the 200 period moving average. There might be a little squeeze-ish type action there. But I mean, come on. The name that everyone's interested in is Apple today. I think it was all doom and gloom because everyone was worried about the $3,500 iPhone and this and that. And now that we've backed away from the ledge, it's crazy to say we're already up 25% from the bottom, but that's essentially where we're sitting at 210, up a quarter from these lows, and you're not even at the major moving averages yet. So there still is room to rally. It's just going to be one of those. I think there's going to be selling at the open because this is a market that likes to take profit whenever we get bounces. So I'm looking back at all the key levels. 07, prior high. If we start filling in the gap, 200 and 203, which is the close going back from the third. I like the levels from the third, and we'll see if we can hold that 200 here today. But Apple's the big winner on that list. Surprise Peloton's an upgrade. Maybe you keep an eye just in case there's a squeeze this week, but no relative volume, whereas Apple's going to do a bunch.
Yeah, I was looking at a name here. It's going to be on. It is on the sticky note today. Google. What about Google breaking through 160 right now? I mean, it's high. It's only 150, 1.5% right now. But Google right here, nice little bounce back, man. This was $140, now up to 160, looking to break long through this level. So yeah, definitely like this as a potential. I was thinking maybe we break and then fake and then rip, but at the end of the day, Google up here near 160. I like that stock, and I do think that there is a chance here to get a good, nice continuation play on Google here early. So yeah, Google, a stock that I'm liking and looking forward to trading today, along with Robinhood, and then I also want to look at, Weebull. Again, just because this is a relatively new name here, we'll see if we have to pay for shorts or whatnot on Weebull. But right now, another name. Are we bullish or
we do have
are we bearish or are we bullish? Weebull, bear. No, I think that one pretty much failed.
Weebull is only 2 cents a share. Short.
Ah,
it's cheap.
I see. Says the blind man. All right. Very, very interesting there. I'm also looking at Bitcoin. A couple different movers there today. What else is that sign? Some sports thing there was going on?
Oh, that's that app for if you're trying to like get the college coaches to see you or whatever. So you post like your videos and your highlight stuff, and then it's.
I saw that kid from Tennessee wanted $4 million instead of 2.5, and now he got canned. Forget what his name was there, but that NIL transfer portal and all that stuff is getting.
It's big business now. So like that app is
a lot of money now, boy. It's almost like it's better to stay in the college and then instead of coming out of the NFL.
For some of them,
get that couple $1 million guaranteed, and then if you do well, then you get paid at the big boy level there. So, all right, Nico. His name was Nico something. He's out as the Tennessee Volunteers quarterback because he wanted more money. It was his dad apparently stepped in.
Well, what's weird and what sucks about that, anyways, it's a college football thing. Tennessee is one of those schools where the quarterbacks are all overrated because of the system they run. Mm-hmm. So you want to stay there, build up your numbers, and then go out. It's like now. It's basically think of it like the IPO market right now. Like it used to be, companies would go public like twice as fast as they do now. But now, because you can get, like the private funding is so available and so readily out there that you're waiting till some companies are profitable, they're already like almost not fully fledged, but they're much more mature, and then they're bothering to go public. So I think that's what college sports has turned into, because you have this other source of revenue. Why bother to come out early? The markets are all similar. They're all fractal.
Let's go. Make sure you do. Well, that's true. Yeah, all these, and they're all forever changing. I mean, that's the other thing. Real trading. Make sure you do scan that. Make sure you do get our link in description to grab the watch list, because it's about that time, baby. We're gonna go through the watch list right now with Brendan and Sharif, or soon enough. Ish. So close.
Just double checking there. May 12th. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but May 12th for Palantir earnings. So still a few weeks away.
Oh, yeah.
Palantir is absolutely screaming right now, by the way. 7% at day highs right now, so we'll keep an eye on that as well. Go ahead, sorry.
No worries, 53.91, guys. That's where we closed out Friday on the ES June contract. We're well above 5,300 to start the morning. We're well above 5,400 to start the morning. What we're knocking on the door of is 5,500, so that will be our key area of resistance until it is cleared. We're also looking at that area crest back from the 9th. That took us a little bit above 5,500 to about 55.25, so we'll be looking at that as a next area of resistance if we do clear 5,500. To the low side, the overnight low is 5,410, so we'll use 5,400, Brendo, as support.
If you haven't done so yet, make sure you jump down to the description of this video. Top link will get you to the sign-up page for the watch list. All you need is your email, and you get everything you need to know in one neat package delivered right to your email every single morning before we come on at 8:30. 3.5% here for NVIDIA. I mean, pick one. All of these going to be higher this morning. We were just talking about Google trying to test that high going back to midweek last week. Right now, 160 coming into play. Tesla was a little bit of a laggard so far this morning, still 2.3%, but nowhere near that same high from a few days ago. So if you missed it over the weekend, I mean, Sharif will have all the details here, but if you missed it over the weekend, tech essentially getting exempted as far as tariffs are concerned. Apple benefiting the heaviest.
But definitely huge move up for Apple. Let's talk about what's going on here, guys, in case you didn't hear the headline. Late Friday, the U.S. Customs and Border Protection Services issued guidance exempting smartphones, laptops, semiconductors, solar cells, flash drives, and other specific electronic equipment from Trump's 145% tariffs on Chinese imports. These exemptions also apply to the 10% universal tariff on other countries, which he announced on Wednesday, but that 20% China tariff stays in place. The White House said the exemptions are intended to give companies time to shift the manufacturing to the United States. I should mention these exemptions are retroactive, so shipments having left the warehouse, Brendo, by April 5th will be exempt as well. So giving you some idea of what kind of carnage these tariffs have had, Brendo. Apple lost $640 billion in market value since the tariffs were announced. Wedbush Dan Ives called this a dream scenario for tech investors, and Ives noted the shift came after a lot of these big tech CEOs really kind of put their foot down and went to social media and kind of voiced their opinion.
He was sounding as bearish as I've ever heard him.
Ives?
At the end of the week last week.
Certainly.
Like a little bit panicking. I would say even. Here's another one that we haven't mentioned yet, but guys, Dell is up 8.3% here. Obviously another computer maker, but just taking out pre-market highs here, or testing them anyway.
Yeah, there's a lot of strength, and if you only look at like say Nvidia, or I mean obviously Apple's actually up a bunch, over 6%. But if you only look at like some of the regulars, you'll miss out. To see like Micron is super relatively strong as one of the chip names. Speaking of Nvidia, we're gonna break out last week's high like any second now. There's already, what's hilarious, there's already big offers at 120 that you can see in the book. Like someone's already posting $250,000 up there. I think that's a logical place to kind of target where we can get to. Still of the opinion that you get a little bit of selling at the open when you gap up like this, but Nvidia, VWAP makes a lot of sense if there's room to 120. But actually, like I like Micron is now it's just like, look at this rocket. So I like Micron a little bit better, but wow, you're now $2 away from the volume weighted average price. That broke through that massive support recently. I liked 72.5 in here. I don't know if we'll get a dip by quite that far into 72.5, but 8% up here on Micron. AMD's having a strong day. Obviously, they're all looking good. You just want to pick something that you like. I think it was clear. Well, I think the gap is pretty clear from the 72 all the way to the high 70s here for Micron. That's one of the reasons I like the target. If we get dip into 72.5, that's where I'm going long. We already talked about Apple a little bit, so the tech names are all in play. It's a matter of picking the one that sets you up the best. I think Micron's exceptionally strong in this rally. And even if the rally is short-lived, we're here short-term day trading at the end of the day. Like, I'm not sure all this is out of the water. Like, one headline, it's like, they're not really exemptions. It's all going to be back on in a week. You know, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but if that does happen, you understand that we'll be right back where we started. But for now, it's all looking really good. I want to go dip by into MU off 72.5.
Yeah, for me, I'm going to stick with. I mean, I will stick everywhere, but we'll just figure out what's moving. And it's Nvidia for me today, up 4%. I mean, this has probably been one of my most profitable names since it's split for sure. So we'll try to play it. I wrote down, I mean, again, it might be gone now at this point, but I was thinking between this 111 and 112 area right here, which was the top of Friday, and if we did get any pullback, but of course, now we've bumped up about a buck and change right now. So Nvidia's off to the races. We're definitely going to be playing back dip by opportunity. So 113. Let's be patient with it and see if that hits right off the jump. AMD is another one here. We talked about this. So it's on the sticky note. Nvidia, so we'll definitely play that. And it's something very similar here with AMD, not taking off as much. It's up more than Nvidia, but right now Nvidia's catching wind. So we'll have to wait to see if that one can go as well, but AMD down here. And then just to talk about SOXL, like I know there's gonna be some day traders out here that really wanna push the envelope and trade something that's pretty aggressive. Well, this is up 9% and really looks like it wants to go again. I mean, huge moves down, looks like it wants to break higher. That top is 13. We could break through that today. Don't ever, disconsider where SOXL can go. 13 might be a little bit too high for that, but a pullback in anywhere to the 200 period on SOX. I mean, I think that's what we want to do. So I like the chip space today. There's no doubt about that. SOXL to go long, great opportunity there. We'll look to trade all of this. I'll probably stick with the TQs, which is the market in general, but generally speaking, this has been an awesome trade. So we'll wait for the 200 period, which is 1075 down there on the Nasdaq. Now remember on the SOXL, which is the semiconductors. We've gone through this sort of, I guess, lesson or, method a few times here. All buys today again, right? So very, very few sells. PL, I don't know. But you get Quantum, you get China, Nubank in there, Snapchat's a buy, Dell even a buy today. So, Alibaba's there as a buy, Oklo, Berkshire is there as, Berkshire is almost at the highs again of all time, pretty much. Again, for this name, as Berkshire just gets right back into, look at that, 540. We take a look at that. So some nice moves up. Even on Occidental's a bid here today as well, as we're catching some there. So lots of opportunities here to go long early on some big names. And all the sectors seem to be wanting to go today with Oxy up 2.4%. So, all right, let's go. It's Goldman. Okay, let's talk about different sectors. Goldman Sachs earnings here with the banks. Let's go find out.
And back to the upside right now. I mean, we're coming in a little bit, but back above 510, 3% on better than expected results here. The investment banking number was impressive, to say the least.
Ridiculous, and so is the trading number. We'll get to that in a second, Brendo. But here's how they did financial-wise, guys. EPS, $14.12. Easily beat that $12.35 the street wanted. Revenue as well handily beat $15.06 billion. The street was looking for $14.81 net profit, Brendo, up 15%. Revenue growth continues nicely here, 6% year over year. Global banking and market revenue made about 10.71% billion, but it was really the equity trading volume that was up 27% year over year. Didn't make as much as global banking, but the increase year over year was quite prohibitive. $4.2 billion they brought in from equity trading. Fixed income trading up 2%, but that missed expectations. Investment banking down 8% here, Brendo, and that also missed the analysts of $1.94 billion. Asset and wealth management, slight year-over-year decline.
Still pretty impressive numbers across the board here, guys. There was a bit of a dip on some of the comments that came out of the call. We're right back to almost highs here, though, for Goldman.
Yeah, it continues the trend of, hey, impressive numbers, but especially on that trading side. So there's been a lot made of the lack of the regulatory pullback with regards to some of the M&A and that not really taking off as much as it could have this year. But I'm telling you, Goldman, echoing what you saw with Morgan Stanley last week, good trading numbers are definitely going to be leading them here. Look, I think this is a name that needs to get through like 523. Sometimes there's obvious levels. There's a lot of charts that will look pretty much this similar if you go back and see the bottoms from mid-March. And this is where we bounced and rejected already once at 5.25 on Goldman. So until it's breaking out that level, like you're only, what are we, like $15 away? That's like another 3% it would have to do. You're not doing a tremendous amount of volume. Then you look over at something like a JP, like JP Morgan, that same March low. Well, that March low, instead of being resistance, it's already turned into support for JPM. So just a stronger name. It doesn't mean that Goldman Sachs isn't gonna break that 525. It's just, to me, a little bit more strength here. I know it's not up a bigger percentage, but they also have already reported so much better look in terms of finding a long trend, because you've got that now base, the 50 period, the 200 period underneath you instead of above. I think Goldman needs to step up, break that 525, whereas when I look at JPM, it's just a better trend since the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, we're low on JP Morgan. I was debating getting some out this week if this rally sort of continues here in the banks. But yeah, nice move up there for Goldman Sachs. I think if you're going to go long, we talked about JP Morgan, that 226 level. That really hit on Friday, and it was perfect. We wrote it down and didn't do anything about it. So for this one, I don't know. Like I don't trade Goldman too much, but just looking at what the range could be here. 480 up to 5. So you could get. I mean, it was a pretty active day, obviously, on Friday, but pretty choppy until the end, where we kind of just started to trend up, started to make a nice little move here. That's just the sort of stuff that we're looking for. On earnings, you always play back to VWAP, but VWAP's only 505 right now. So I'd actually see if banks are tough because the market opens and they often sell off, to be honest with you. So I was thinking about 500 to 498. So if we get a dip buy opportunity into here, 498 to 500, I think that would be reasonable. Those are the tops there on Friday. I don't think you need to do anything, it doesn't have to be rocket science. If it drops back into here, we can go long. And then you could just get out if it breaks. I mean, and if you're worried really about something too low, 490 might be a level down there to sort of dip by if we really do come in. But again, we looked at the imbalances. I didn't really see anything on here for GS. So not too worried about it right now. And then the other thing would be, of course, when we talk about the XLF, well, I think I have to change that on my... We had sort of stamped this last week, waiting for an ETF to get going. We had the KRE as well, but XLF right now, beautiful bounce. I mean, most stocks are going to look like this right now, where you had a bottom and now you're trying to get right back up into the 200 period moving average. But this is a very, very reliable index, right, with all the banks in there. So if you like the trend that we were sort of experiencing before tariffs, this is going to be a good name to get right back into here. I feel like the worst is behind it. we'll just play the rate game right now. And the smartest guys in the room are going to be these bankers who, as Michael already talked about, trading that bond market, moving around big money. So it's nice to hear that Goldman also catches wind with equity trading today. So yeah, I like the name, up 3%. I think it's probably a big move for Goldman Sachs. So pull back into 498,500 makes some sense to me. And then JP Morgan getting anything out around this 240 mark, I think is great. I'm still long at between 230 and 232. But at the end of the day, you had to absorb this all the way down into 210. So I think we could try to look for 250 right now. Not today, but that would be a good little level if we can get back anywhere into these levels between 247 to 250 to try to sell some of this. So I do like JP Morgan back into this level as well, 235, 236. So banks on mine today.
Chrome now, we were just talking about going to Google versus ChatGPT, but even though Chrome now is, when you type in any kind of search, the first thing you get is Gemini results.
Yes.
It's still not the same and as detailed as you were saying, but anyway, we'll pay attention now. IBIT day highs here, 1.5%. As we were saying, if you were with us in the first 30 minutes this morning, Michael Saylor in there buying up the dip in a big way, 3,200 plus Bitcoins being added to Strategy's pocketbook.
Well, what do you expect, Brendo? He took last week off. He's gotta hit the buy button now, baby. So the executive chairman of Strategy, formerly known as MicroStrategies, posted a cryptic tweet, or X, or whatever it's called these days. No tariffs on orange dots. That was the tweet from yesterday. This follows a recent pattern. Saylor's Sunday posts have often preceded Bitcoin purchases on Monday, so we'll have to see what he does today. The firm paused, as I mentioned, Bitcoin buying last week, as noted in his latest SEC filing. Strategy holds, just to give you an idea, 528,185 Bitcoins worth of approximately $44.2 billion. That's about an unrealized gain of 25%, so that's not a bad look there. However, it's not all roses for Bitcoin and Bitcoin in general. Bitcoin mining is going to get hit hard, Brendo, due to that 145% tariffs on Chinese ASICs, ASIC, or in mining gear. ASICs, thank you, Fabian. Analysts warn about 20% rise in infrastructure costs for U.S. miners if these tariffs are left in place, and they're not part of the exemption.
I was reading something on the weekend that was talking about that very thing and how price action, because of that, and some of these ETFs has been so heavily related to equities versus the underlying for the past couple of weeks. I mean, it looks like the overall stock market, if you look at IBIT here, guys, back to highs though, 1.6 right now.
Point today, pretty much no question. If you're going to be bullish on this tech exemption thing, it's hard not to like BTC, regain that 81,000. I want to get to Nick W. Super Chat. I appreciate you, Nick, because you actually asked about Coinbase. I'm kind of responding to you about CVS there, and they're just a different type of name. But you're looking at Coinbase long into 205. I mean, it's easy to sort of see, I think, what you're getting at here, which is you made a little bit of a double bottom, kind of regained this prior support in the mid-70s, and then play to the next range, assuming stop underneath there. So like a simple, hey, we've made the low, we've regained prior support, give it to like the prior bar for a bit of a trend reversal. I do like that kind of a look. And whether you're trading, whether you're trading Coinbase, or, I don't know, Robinhood, or pick one, doesn't really make a difference. I mean, the important thing to me, and let me go to IBIT for a quick little second, is just what, you can't, it doesn't really do it justice unless you're looking at the 24-hour market. Let's go to 15-minute on actual Bitcoin. You've regained with gusto that 81,000 level. And we actually have a higher low of support at 83K that just got put in underneath that. So I'm really liking like this consolidation above that we have going on at 83, like a little prior high and that big move, and then we're now holding that as support. So it's a good little foundation. And then you have the 81 underneath it. So I do like all that. I'm a buyer of 83,000 today on IBIT. That'll work out to, it's like 47 quarter-ish. So I want to be buying dips in IBIT. When I sat down, we were at 48 even. Now we're kind of another % higher. But yeah, I want to look for that 83,000 as the buy spot. That's the kind of level that'll probably prop up things like your Coinbase, like some of the miners, although I still feel relatively bearish on the miners in a general sense. But IBIT, 83K, that's where I want to be buying the dip, about 47 quarter.
Okay, so we had talked about some of the altcoins starting to go upside as well, so that's real nice. I did see someone in the chat say, like, why are we worried about Coinbase? Now we have Robinhood and Weebull and all that, and I think that that's also, Neil mentioned a little bit here about Robinhood and I don't know if it was, maybe it was Weebull, but I want to look at Robinhood today, just a $45 name. So this is actually going to be on my note here today, looking to get long at 43. Now, I don't know. I just said back to the 200 period moving average, and that was going to be here. So go check it out. I have a couple ideas there. But I was just thinking back, now we're going to have to use the 200 period now because we're starting to go. But right into there, 43, 43.50 is where we closed on Robinhood. It's nice to see Weebull getting back up to the upside. But if crypto trading is going to be the thing, then yeah, Robinhood is. We already saw 700% increase in Robinhood on crypto trading last quarter. I like the stock. I like the move that we've had on Robinhood. This is going to be one that definitely is palm to face because we should have had Robinhood down there. We had talked about it every day that we liked it at the 200 period, and I did not pull the trigger. Nervous hands all last week. FOMO definitely back into this name. I think it should probably be back up to $65. I think Robinhood goes. So I like the name, up 4% today. Let's see what winds up happening with Robinhood, you know, stealing from the poor and giving to the rich. We'll see if that can happen again here today. Robinhood up to $50. How about by tomorrow?
I heard. Not bad.
Let's go on to Chinese ADRs back to highs as well, almost 4% here. PDD looking, or this is Alibaba. PDD also looking pretty good to start things off, 3.25% right across the board. I mean, even the EVs higher here to start things off this morning. XPeng leading the way. Not as positive as far as price action is concerned, but good look here for all of these.
Yeah, and we got a really interesting data point today, Brendo, about exports coming out of China and the surge that we got ahead of what we were expecting to be a prohibitive tariff. So exports surged 12.5% year over year in the month of March, far exceeding that 4.4% forecast that analysts were looking for. This was the strongest export growth since October 2024, likely due, obviously, to businesses rushing shipments to avoid U.S. tariffs. Imports, however, dropped 4.3% into China, extending the trend of weak domestic demand. So we're going to talk more about stimulus, something tells me, in the near future. So despite the tensions, March exports to the U.S. continued to rise 9.1%, while imports from the U.S. fell 9.5% here, even with the electronics exemptions. And China continues to look to kind of risk away from the United States. Exports of these ASEAN countries, Brendo, jumped 11.6%, which was led by the biggest export rise, 19% to Vietnam out of China. So looking to diversify a little bit here into new markets.
Yeah, pretty good buy here if you or anyone picked it up going into the weekend. I mean, nice move on Friday, guys. Extending right now here for, I mean, that's just FXI, but the entire group.
4% here for Alibaba in general. Like you can forget about last week's tops. 108, 109 was kind of a resistance spot that we've gapped so far away from. I think you'd have to dip in there for me to like the long. That's Robinhood over there. Let's go to Alibaba. If we can come here for a second, Fabian. What I'm looking at now is like just go back to the 4th when we had the big gap down. First resistance was at 117. So we get to 117. I'm not 100% that these ones are all good. This one gets back to 117. I'd be looking for a fade. It did have resistance there back in October. So yeah, big gap to get filled from the the 200 period back up to the 50. Before we even think about getting there on Alibaba, I think you run into that 117 area this week and find some resistance. I don't know if I'm buying Baba on any dips. I kind of thought we'd be going into the 70 to 80 range again. I suppose it's good for anyone long that hasn't happened, but I'd be a seller at 117. That's what I'm looking at this week.
Alibaba, yeah. So for me, I'm always looking at FXI, try to find out, you know, every time we're in this, it seems to be pretty good. But again, it's a major ETF, so you got to try to trade it like the TQs a little bit here and wait for some sort of a move to happen. You know, great bottom there. It looks like we can be friendly. I do feel that Trump and everybody will start to make something up with China. I mean, I think they can kiss and make up for sure. going on, Adara? If we can get above this $34 mark, that's actually 35, sorry, on FXI, then I do think it's go time. But I think for now it's been a nice move up. I would like to short here if we can get something. It's not as aggressive as our market right now. Chinese just up 1.15% right there. So we'll see if we can get a short. I'm looking at $34 right there. We had topped out, we had had an issue. Once we broke it, we did come back and try to hold 34.50. So in and around here, we'll see if we can push this back down into the 200 period or so. But a great aggressive move back up there for Chinese names, up 10% in just a week. So you got to like the bounce, but at the same time, I think it's a fade a little bit back in here. So yeah, I feel like the best place to still have your money parked is going to be in the U.S. And today you're seeing that again. Look at the Nasdaq up 2%, ES up 2% as well. So I could see possibly some money rotating maybe out of China because it's been such a nice run, and even back into the Nasdaq here, as it seems like President Trump and the committees that he's been forming and just everybody now, all the Fed speak that's coming this week. It looks like maybe back on the right track here for the United States, and maybe China gets bumped down just a little bit. We just had the imbalances come out, so let's have a quick look to see if anything spiked here. So Apple, bang. What's up, Sharif? How you doing, my guy? Apple with a nice move right here, 210 up to 212 and change right there on this little imbalance. So we're going to go over and talk about Weebull in a minute. But there's Apple. There's NVIDIA with a sell. That's interesting. And then my guy Robinhood with a sell as well coming back in. So maybe we'll get some of these prices. And then, of course, everybody shops at Amazon. So there goes Amazon up to the upside as well, as maybe they just delivered something to my house. Now Marissa is looking at delivery options. So it's like now you can get it between 4 to 7 a.m. the next day.
Which is great.
So it's like I wake up and I trip over Amazon boxes as I'm heading out of the house. So thanks, Bezos.
It's actually better, though. I like it.
Yeah, of course it's better, because then you don't have to wait around all day. Exactly. And she likes it because if she gets the kids something, then it's there. My 20, how old is Baxter? 20 through 20, he's born in April, 22. So he was over last night, and you know what he goes? He's like, oh, I could use an air fryer. So it's like, oh, you could use an air fryer. That's a nice story.
Yes, you could.
Oh, what happens? Oh, we have an air fryer.
Look at that.
So what winds up happening is, and he's like, oh, instead of me taking the subway home tonight, maybe I could catch a ride because the air fryer is huge. And, that would be.
But Sean, it is huge.
It is huge.
It is huge.
So now I have to get up and I start washing because we use the air fryer because they had fries last night. We had gyros and fries, and we had a side Caesar salad, which is nice with that. But one of my kids doesn't eat vegetables. 13-year-old boy, of course. You know what I'm saying, Joe? Joe, how are you today, man?
That's hurting.
Everything's all right? Okay, good.
So
anyway, then late last night, whenever Joe's in the building, we're going to have something happening today. What's up, Joe? You're on screen, man. What's going on, my guy? Oh, yeah, there he is. I feel like Spider-Man right there. We're pointing at each other. All right.
What happened to our boy, Joe Lopez?
Okay, so end of the story is that I no longer have an air fryer, and right now we're looking for a new one.
And you're going to get it on Amazon. That's the end of the story.
Well, no.
No? Oh.
No.
Well, I thought it was tied back to Amazon.
Come over to the screen, please.
I thought we were tying it back to Amazon.
Come over to the screen, please.
Oh,
it's Costco time, baby.
It's Costco, of course.
So we're going over to Costco.
Yeah, of course. That makes sense.
Yeah, so Marissa will be on Costco. So I'm getting ready for a couple $100 bill coming. You just don't go to Costco and buy an air fryer.
Of course not.
Let's put it that way. So
get a dog.
And apparently now she's like, oh, we can get a double air. What the hell's a double air fryer?
See, everyone was saying right there, they're all like Costco in the chat. Yeah. Costco was the best, says Skull.
All right, back to, are we done?
Well, we got to talk about
Weebull. My bad.
The quietest SPAC on Friday.
Yeah, real quick. About a minute to go here before the open, 90 seconds or so. 7.3 billion. This goes all the way back to February 28th of 2024. This thing's been hanging out as a SPAC since then. So finally on Friday, I didn't see this anywhere. I don't think anyone did. I just read a Reddit subreddit that was titled "Weebull just came public and no one even knows."
Yeah, and that was the truth because we were here on Friday and it didn't start writing until the aftermarket. So this one really started to move into the aftermarket. Guys, just to give you some quick information here, 47.71 million outstanding shares. Friday's market cap was about 6.25, but that obviously moves. And they de-SPACed with a company called SK Growth Opportunities. So we'll keep an eye out on that. Should be in play today, Brenda.
Yeah, up huge, obviously, guys. Thoughts?
Well, it's been trending down a little bit. I'd like to see it break this like downward stair step. It actually hit 40 if you go back earlier. This is just tracking from 6 a.m. So it was a little bit quiet. And oftentimes when you see these big gap ups on SPACs, you want this. I don't want to say it'll fill the entire gap in there, but you do want to be a bit careful with this. Very, very lightly traded. There was a sell imbalance on NVIDIA that just brought it down, but 400,000 sell imbalance on NVIDIA, bringing it down through VWAP. That didn't grow, did it? No, I don't even see it anymore. It was about 400,000, and you're seeing NVIDIA pull back heavily, about $1 in here. Apple trying to pull back. We do like Apple. I like 207 on that particular name. Micron, 72.5. We'll see if we have a chance to get there. But it is Monday morning. It is tariff exemption day, whatever you want to call it. Either way, we get the party started in 4, 3, 2, and 1. Ring it, Adara.
All right, what's up, everybody? Yeah, we're ready here to rock and roll here. So let's go. I'm not going to be looking at Costco. Let's go over and quickly have a look at Apple, see what's happening. So there is a little bit of a pullback now into 210 and change. We'll wait to see what happens at that 213 level. Looks like we may take that out. NVIDIA with a nice dip, dive, and duck a little bit here into 114 again. Maybe we do get that 113 and change. Not a horrible level. I'm still going to try to wait for a little bit lower here, just in case the market does want to pull back here off the jump. So that's NVIDIA with a nice little pullback. Apple was the other name that we're looking for pullbacks on as well. That one now coming back in just a little bit, but not enough for me. What about a break of that level right here, 212, 213 for Apple? It looks like it's trying to hold 211, but still early days, man. Early days here.
Wow, we're really dropping NVIDIA.
Are we?
113.7 now. Like, this is really starting to pull back. I'm looking over it. Like Micron, that just broke 73.5. I'm sitting 72.5 on Micron. So it's a chip name. I mean, the Nasdaq's at the high right now, 2.33%. Right. But it is the chips that are coming down. AMD just broke VWAP. Just a shout out, the Bell sponsored by works for WKSP on the Nasdaq. Well, the Nasdaq's doing okay despite this plunge that we're seeing in all of the chips. So it's a very distinctly different market between the chips and between these Mag 7 names. Like Apple holding the top end of the range very, very nicely. Oh, there was one short I liked. It was Pfizer. Pfizer discontinuing GLP oral drug, 22.5. I want to fade on that. Viking was up on that.
We're coming in on NVIDIA, which is giving me some interest here for sure. The market pulling back. Look, we didn't hit anything until like 9:40 or so on Friday. So we'll wait to see what winds up happening right now. Tesla moving around as well. Some of these names, whoa. Right there goes Tesla up to 261. Kaboom for that one. We'll say, oh my God.
Oh,
right shoot. Now as Tesla. What you got going?
No, the bull.
Oh, Weebull.
The only key I could hit for Weebull halted to the upside is the bull. So Weebull is halted at 30.5-ish, like 30.40. Just went into an instant volatility halt at the open. Obviously, this is the de-SPAC. It's not a ton of shares that are out there, and it's done 2 million already. But a halt up, it'll be open in about 5 minutes or so. Maybe this can crack a little VWAP action in there. Wow, NVIDIA.
I don't want to get too involved yet. I mean, I feel like we're missing
NVIDIA
something.
needs to chill. That's what has to happen.
Chill,
Dude,
NVIDIA.
Bitcoin's even just dropped through 85 and continuing to fall. So you're getting a little bit of a pullback. Apple getting close to the 207 entry for me. Maybe we do get this 47 quarter. I like 83,000 on Bitcoin today. We might get that test.
All right, I'm stepping in. I'm stepping in right now into Apple. Apple has entered the building right now. So, again, I like the name. It's falling back in way too much. I wrote down the only level that I really did like was 200. But, again, with the market move up higher here, we didn't get anything. So we're writing those stuff down when we're at like 208, 209, which I thought 200 was even not going to be in play anyways. So we'll have to wait to see. I'm trying to... Yes, sir, Fabian. Remember to like and subscribe, man. Get it going right now. We did edit my like and subscribe video, so it's going to be played at some point. It's no longer 12 minutes. It's just a quick one.
Nice.
All right, so here we go. We will watch out for that level, 208, 209. Look, guys, if we break 209, I think we could probably regroup. We're not huge into this trade right now, so I'm actually going to give it to 208, 207, where this 200 period moving average is, but we're dropping nicely here. So, yeah, maybe 208, 208.50. We're going to get out of Apple. I don't really love this trade as much as I thought I did in the past. NVIDIA might be the trade that we try to pick up a little bit lower. We wrote down on NVIDIA, they're 110 to 111 long. So we'll see about that. Apple, it's just a starter position, but we're not going to let this get too nasty. Here comes 208.50. Let's average in right now into this trade with Apple, 208.50. We'll take a few more shares here, a break of 208, and we are out of there if we break 208, and it'll be a first loss for us here today. Just did not expect Apple to make this move down. So right here, we're going to sit in this. We're long at 209. Could be reverse dollar club right here, guys.
Well, we'll see. This market's really starting to come in. I saw someone in the chat asking what the news on Weebull was. They came to market last week on a SPAC, and there is no specifics. And the halt is a volatility halt for Weebull, so it won't be open up for a minute or two. I just jumped into Micron and did just bounce off 73 even.
There goes
we like 72 and a half, so we're getting a nice bounce here. Want to take some out in front of the volume weighted average price and the $0.50 as respect the fact that the market just made a top, but play the first bounce into VWAP, look for the reload off 73. The other good news is you've got NVIDIA holding up here. Oh, okay, NVIDIA was holding up at the pre-market low. Now we're immediately retesting it. So yeah, we were just catching a bid on NVIDIA. Looked pretty good to have that bid on MU. Let's see if we can continue to hold that 73 area, up 5.5%. Bitcoin also catching a bid, 48 on IBIT. All right, so I guess we're not going to get 47.25 at this rate. 48 just held nicely on IBIT. Not quite far enough down for me to be able to get into it, but nice little catch of a bounce we've got so far.
All right, yeah, good move there on Micron. As we're both stuck long right now, I mean, I thought the market would be a long today. It looks like Apple is coming back in. We were lucky enough to get some. Whoa, there it goes. We were lucky enough to get something. We didn't get stopped out at 208, a little bit lower than that, but we almost did. It might coming through right now. We were lucky enough to get something out right there at 209, but that was only our 10%. So we didn't. Actually, it was 209. Whoa, where's my little marker? It was 209.35, so we did have a nice bump up right there. There's the rejection. I'm going to get something out here in the 70s if we can. We just had a nice little rejection of 208, but that doesn't mean this market wants to rally. So there it is. We get a 71 fill or something there. As we get a little bit out, this is a bleed. It's 208.80 right now. We're stuck long Apple. It's 40 cents against us, but we are going to stop out if it does break that 208 clean. So get ready to go here. Hopefully we can bounce back. The futures are now at VWAP. So this is a good standing spot right now to see what winds up happening. Miss Adara on the ones and twos.
Couple movers here. THTX, this is Thera Technologies. One ran a little bit last week as well, as you can see here on Friday. This morning, nice push to the upside. I also want to remind you guys there was a catalyst on NVIDIA in case anybody missed it. Right now dropping, but we had a nice push pre-market. The company, as reported by Reuters, apparently announcing that it's working with manufacturing partners to design and build factories that will produce their AI supercomputers and AI infrastructure entirely in the U.S. One of those partners is TSM. So NVDA and TSM on watch this morning. Back to you.
You found the best trading show on the planet. So what are you going to do now? Simple. Hit the like, subscribe, and share it. It's Trader TV Live. We're here, baby.
Here every single day. Okay, so Weebull is open now, I guess.
Yeah, Weebull opened at 30. I didn't get a really good look at it, 31.5 or something like that, but above VWAP. Let's see if it can hold that halt price at about 30.40. So the 30, call it the 30 level in here. If it can hold on to that, come on, bounce, bounce, bounce. It doesn't look like it's going to do it. Never mind. I thought ultimately, that first halt up, I usually like a hold of that level for a continuation long. As you can see, it's not doing a great job of it. 50 to 60 cent spread on Weebull. Maybe this needs to calm down a bit. I'm going to go back over just for a quick second. Let's go back over to MU, which just caught another bit of a bid, but it's resisting VWAP in here. So downward trend. The market's only 1.5% at this point. We got one scalp trade, but if we lose 72.5, I'm jumping out of this one and taking the L really because we're really starting to come in here. I know a lot of people are looking at Palantir. Like I said, 72.5 is the only thing I'm watching right now on Micron. Palantir is trying to bounce VWAP itself.
Come on,
got to
Apple.
97.5, almost $98, and it's trying to show some strength. Up 8%. It's one of the stronger names out there, holding to its volume-weighted average price. So that's on the radar. IBIT's not going to get to 47.25. I'm going to go long IBIT. It'll be at a different price than what we anticipated, because it doesn't seem like it wants to get all the way down, even in the market weakness.
Come on, Apple, run, man, run. We've been buying into this. We only have one position on right now. It's AAPL. It's in the money for us finally. We've just been buying 208s at that bottom and just getting out as it rips. I'm still waiting for 209 to fill right now. I'm at oh, come on. Oh, I'm at 209. It just went to 208, like 95 there or something like that. I don't know why we're sitting at that even level, but we are. We'll see if we can get that. Then we'll go back up to 209.25s or so. And then we'll see if it can get back up to VWAP into 210 and make this a special moment. So we'll see if that can go right here for Apple. But for right now, we've just been buying the dips. And it's been working. Like, there it is. Yes, let's go. See if we can have those diamond hands. Boom, 209.50 right now. Here we go. It is a nice little dollar winner here. Well, we'll see if we can get it come back in right now for us, as there goes Apple. Nice move back up there. We do get that 209.40 level that we did talk about. And so I don't know. We'll see if we want to get higher than that. There's a nice little trade. We'll see if we can get back up to 210 for Apple. So far, so good right now in the play there, as it's having a problem. So it's a good thing we got out. We only got out of a third there, though, on that upside of Apple. Now we're 50 cents in the money, but we've had to massage this trade. So it hasn't been a good one, man. I really thought we could get a lot higher than where we are right now. Please hit the like, the subscribe, and everything, man. We've got tons watching now. Thank you so much for coming through. Over 12,000 of you now watching. So we want to say thank you. And we also want to say bye-bye to Apple as it goes to the downside right now. Everything losing right now. Make sure you do hit that like and subscribe, as we're all falling right back in now.
Yeah, the Nasdaq just went right through the 1.5 zone. Here it is. We're at pre-market lows, everybody. So buckle up, Buttercup, because this market seems to want to give it back. We got 1905 here on the NQ. If we don't hold this line, obviously there's a bit of a gap to fill here on our tariff exemption day. So there's Nvidia. That just broke the low, couldn't hold the 113. I liked Apple at the 207 level. It's pre-market low, so we're in it the first time. Micron's trying to hold 73. And I feel like it's just going to do what the overall market is going to be able to do here. So my stop's already in at the 206.5. If we lose this bid, I guess that exuberance that we all had over the weekend is going to be gone right quick here. So Apple trying to hold on for dear life. Micron and all the chip names. Micron's holding the pre-market lows at least for now, but not a lot of strength. I will note that IBIT's not doing a bad job of holding the line at $48. So 84.5 on Bitcoin seems to have a buyer for the entire open. It's just bouncing off the same level. So if the market holds here, you got a good level here on IBIT at 48, right about that 84.5 level. But I got the two we like on right now. We'll take our shot at these bottoms. I would love to see a big break of the trend, but we have way too much downward pressure to even think about that just yet. We're still in a bit of a bottoming pattern here, and we have yet to hold a bid on this 3-minute since we got to that 208. So Apple's coming out if we lose this 206 path. There it goes. Micron's going to be able to hold on at least for now. We take our first shot at it. So when we liked it 207, but if 207 ain't holding, then I don't need to be in it. If we can break the trend, that's a different story, but we're still trending big time to the downside, and there it is. Even IBIT just lost that buyer at the 48 level, so it's really starting to come in here.
All right, a couple new positions right now. Yeah, tough look there, as Neil and I both go reverse dollar club hunting right there. So not dollar club, reverse dollar club right now on Apple. We tried it, we lost that one. All right, so I'm going to try to go back into Google. This was a level that we had talked about earlier. It's not necessarily, I mean, we wanted VWAP. It's right back into VWAP right now. It's trying to hold out for 159. 159 is the 200 period moving average. So we're going to go long. We're long right here at 54, so flat on this trade right now for Google. Let's see if we can get back up into 160 there for GOGL. I mean, again, a name that I thought was going to have a chance to break $60. So we'll sit here. We'll get out of like our 5% or so at 159.90, which would be real nice. There's that 160. We talked about that break and then the fade. So there it is right now for Google. We're in this name. Nice trade so far, in the money, 30 cents. So it's not bad. We'll wait to see if that one wants to work. But we did lose out on Apple. And here we go. We're into NVIDIA right now off of 111. So it's a nice little trade there. This is why we we get out of Apple, man. It breaks the 200 period moving average. We get out, and then boom goes the dynamite down to the downside there. So the market is breaking. Apple's giving something back, and we're going to try NVIDIA down here at 111. So it has to be 111, or else that's enough. So we're going to buy some more at 111.50. Then if it breaks that, then enough pain trying to catch some of these longs. Google will average into 159. If the longs don't work, I'm waiting for a bounce now. So if they don't work, we're not putting on a huge amount of leverage or anything like that. We did have obviously a big position on Apple to start with. We lose on that, but we do take out some profit, which was decent right there before eventually giving it up. So our biggest position was Apple. It's gone, so we work off that now. NVIDIA, bigger position now as we just averaged in to NVIDIA, now long at 111.65, looking for that dip into 111. If it doesn't hold, then we're gone. So right now, NVIDIA and everything really pulling back, man. Was that a call for Adara? Then let's go.
Couple things on watch here. Goldman Sachs CEO David Solomon speaking after their earnings this morning. He said that prospects of a recession in the United States have increased in his opinion. He also said, though, that he is, quote, encouraged by the fact that Trump is, I guess, introducing these tariffs in a more gradual way, in his opinion. So GS here on watch, giving back a lot of this earnings move we had this morning. Also, META on watch. We know it has its FTC trial going on. Current FTC chairman Andrew Ferguson saying that he does view the company as a monopoly. And again, there could result as in punishment as severe as a breakup for META after this trial. So keep an eye on Meta today going forward. Back to you.
Hey, thank you very much.
Thank you, Darren.
Here we go.
Weebull halted downside for everybody. If you're watching that stock, the tap is $2 from the close. So 26 even. It's giving you indicated open price at 26 even. So up 110%, but it is down and down precipitously right now.
All right, there we go, man. Google, look at that, man. We talked about that, so let's go, man. We're cooking something up right now. This is me. The barbecue is about to get a lot of use around here as this weather is starting to turn right now. It's a big trade right here again. So we are back to green right now. So we are now green on the day despite, you know, having that Apple flip up there. But we got to get out of these trades, right? And so it's a nice move back up there for Google. We wanted this level, so we took it. So now let's see if this wants to work. I mean, we're here for a long time today. It's only 9:45 right now. So we'll see if these names do want to pop back up. So that's Google. We did take that. These are the three names that we have on our watch list today, right? It's NVIDIA. We wrote down 111 long. So we took it, Randy. There it goes, right back into 111. We take that long. Boom goes the dynamite. We wrote down Google that we wanted that long back into VWAP. We take that long back into VWAP as well. So far, so good there. We both messed up, obviously, on Apple, but we got out. So now we wait to see if that's doing anything. And then we wait for the MU. But so far, so good as we just wait now for this to get back upside right here, if that does want to go. And then because Randy's here, let's have a quick look at what Tesla's doing. Oh, almost. Do it again, Fabian. What's up, Randy? I like the orange shirt there, man.
He never wears the orange shirt, though. I feel like we never actually get to see the shirt that's famous. I don't know.
Yeah, Randy. All right, so yeah, Tesla making.
Get in the Smithsonian.
On that note, Tesla is coming back down, and I was looking to think. I was thinking about this now that we finally got our electric charging stations downstairs. Well, I was going to look and just pick up a cheap Model 3 just because, but we'll wait to see on that one and see where we're going there. I still like the Polestar. Okay, now the lows in the market.
How quick.
Yeah, go ahead. No, I was going to say the lows are coming in. We got to think about some of these lows.
Every single bounce, we're getting lower highs here. Like that kind of tells you bounce, lower high 50 cents, bounce, lower high 50 cents, bounce. You're getting 50-cent bounces, but you're just trending back into the downside as the market is still heavy red. Oh, wow. IBIT really losing the bid now. Bitcoin really losing that bid at that 48. We liked 83,000 as a good support level. That was the third name on the list. I've only actually traded, two of the names from the list. Yeah, I had one short trade that I liked, and we'll get to it if it actually does anything over there in Pfizer. But I want 47 quarter to 47 half on IBIT. That's about the 83.
Go!
Out in front of the 83,000 level.
Okay, here we go, dude. Now we are starting to go. Let's go. Oh my
God.
What was that?
Oh my God.
Oh, okay. All right, let's see what winds up happening with NVIDIA, though. I don't know, man. We take another piece out here at 110. Sorry, 112, where the players dwell. We are right now looking at Google, and this is the one. Here we go, Bianca. I don't know how long you're going to be in Toronto, but you might want to go check out the clubs, because it is a dollar club right now as we go for Google, as we break through that 160 level. Let's see how high we can fly now for Google. Oh boy, we'll have a nice day today as long as this can continue, man. Nice battle back for all these trades. We talked about it. We are a changed man now. We wait for these plays. We are patient. We take on the best trades that we find. And there it goes right now today. We tried Apple early, no workout, but right there, now it goes to the upside here. With NVIDIA's a banger, with Google's a banger. Hey, not only that, Fabian and Bianca go together because we have 2 passes now for the club. There it goes. It is Google now in the money $1. It is NVIDIA in the money $1 right now as we just continue to spin this today. Good trading here so far. There we go. So let's just keep on going, man. Thank you so much to John and to everybody there in the chat. And Anurag, you said that I jinxed it with red. I did have red, but you saw my blue pen was not working, so we threw that aside. And Neil Roberts, there it goes, man. It's a big trade right there for NVIDIA. I hope that Micron's working out. Google starting to go back there up to the upside. Let's go everything right now. Nice battle back. We had to wait for it. It's 10:45. At least we had some patience there.
Well, I definitely had patience, but definitely not enough because we broke way too many of those lows in here. But we do have, every time we broke the low, I'm going to jump out. But we do have a trend break coming in. I'm on the offer of Pfizer. The only short that I'm looking for was Pfizer this morning, and it's coming into the pre-market high. So if it gets there, you'll see me short in Pfizer. There was a story about them, GLP-1 oral drug, yada, yada, yada. But there is this first green candle potentially coming in here on Micron. So if we're sticking with this, the break of trend just happened, but I want it back off those lows at 72.4. iBit was the other name. Well, Bitcoin was the other name we liked. Did not get down to 47.2 or the 83,000 level. And if you see it, we're still putting in lower highs. So I still think we can trend back into that support or break the trend down. If you break the trend down, then I'll put in some higher lows and be willing to take it out in front. So the dip has already happened. Oh, there was one other thing that I like short. That was the Chinese ADRs. Alibaba 117. That was the only other thing I like short. We're about $3 away. The market's at the low, and the Chinese ADRs are at highs and breaking out. So 5% right now on BABA. Not saying it's going to get to 117, but that's the short that I want in Alibaba. Not that much of a believer of this gap.
Let it go, says someone in the chat. What's up, Tony? Don't ever make me sing again, my guy. There it is right there. We are letting it go because now we are starting to go. Props up to everybody that had that patience. I didn't realize you were out of Micron there, but good play anyways, trying to find some of these bottoms as we look. I mean, it's a patient game, and when your levels break, I mean, we had the levels break on us on Apple too, man. And when that broke, we had to get out. Apple, and this is why you get out, because although we loved Apple, was my #1 name, it don't matter. We're green today. And it's because we let this go. If I hold this all the way down in and average in, we don't know how bad this trade could get. You know, so you got to get out and move over to something else. And boy, oh boy, did we wind up doing that. We were able to pick up NVIDIA on some weakness back down in, and then Google. And, you know, it's kind of like we always get questions like, where do we find these trades? It's like on here, Apple, Google, NVIDIA, the TQs at 48, and Robinhood. So those are the only names I'm going to be looking at here early unless something dramatically changes, right? And I mean, that's the whole thing. You want to look for relative strength, relative weakness, and sometimes be able to change your plan. And we do that all the time around here, right? So I'm going to look at Robinhood. Let's do it together. I'm going to look at Robinhood for the first time now. So we actually wrote down 43 longs, all right? But does this look like a long right now? I mean, the fact that it's coming back in, fine. So we've let it go. We're coming in back in now. If we can hold 43, then maybe that's a level. But why did we like 43? Well, that was where we were on Friday. So we've already come in into that level, straight downside. This is probably not one of those names that we look to catch down here, but we can give it to 43 down into 42.80 or so. So let's give Robinhood a little bit of love if it does come into our level. We've like sort of wanted to we get upset at ourselves if we don't make the proper trades. So we'll wait to see about Robinhood down here near $43. So that's going to be a bid for us. And then if it breaks that 42.80 spot, then we can get out of Robinhood. But right now it is falling back in. And that's why we say let it go. And so does Tony there on the chat. But you got to take out profit when it comes through. This was that spot that we had dropped out on Google, on NVIDIA. So when it came back up to 112.50, we do take some out there. Okay, I'm gonna be green today. We're gonna go 2 for 3, and it's just so far so good. But I feel like there's a lot more space to go on the upside. But that doesn't mean I'm not gonna get another piece out. So there it is, another piece out at 112.50. It's
another one,
followed by
another one,
and we'll see if we can give you
another one.
And then we'll just work from there. Neil, I'm at the highest spot right now I've been at all day. So we're gonna be happy about that, but we really think there's more to come. As Google right now, $1.40 in the money, along with NVIDIA's Dollar Club. So let's see if we can keep spinning a little longer.
Yeah, keep spinning to the upside, hopefully. We just got the trend break on MU. Sorry, I was just eating some fruit. Now, we just got the trend break on, and MU pull right back into that prior bar low. So if we can hold on to the trend, fantastic. I just slapped an offer on Pfizer. It did not get filled at 22, just above the 22 level. And Alibaba, it's now in the target area, so it's gotten close enough. I mean, it filled in. The gap was like yesterday or Friday's close was 108 to 117. So we just broke 114 in here. So you've gone more than halfway. I got my trend line in. Alibaba breaks trend or gets to 117, and I'm going short. Either one of those two things happen. So this trend line on a 3-minute, you can basically just connect it from this lower high in here. And the second it breaks, I want to fade. It's just the Chinese ADRs, or at least the one I'm looking at in here that looks a little bit weak. And this is what's going on in Pfizer. It's not really participating at all, doing its own thing. Failed break above yesterday or Friday's top, looking to short it back into the prior high. Do not need that offer right up top there. Fading it into the high. No longer think we're going to get above that 22.20. So we'll see if we can get into this short. That's what like I said, the only things I wanted short, BABA and Pfizer in here. I don't want it to chase it too far, but it is at VWAP. I can get something underneath 22 and add to it in like the 22.03, 22.04 range. Get an average price of 22 even.
All right, $1.40 now in the money here with Google. As I don't need to keep. I don't like I said before. I want to thank Ramin. I want to thank everybody for helping with this. Like, we don't need to keep on talking about these trades. Like, this is what we've done. We've already done 149, 159, all the way to the top to 160. I think we've proven sort of, this name today has been a good long. We nailed it. I'm just about to tweet it out. We had put this as one of the top. We only have 4 ideas today, and there it goes, man. This is literally leading the way here for me on Google. The only thing, I always think, like, why don't we have more shares? But that's going to be, for me to battle with. But we still have a really good amount of shares. That is for sure. It's just as the confidence grows, we want to use more, right? And so right back into the high of the day goes Google. So yeah, what we'll do, man, is we'll just talk about it because there's the long that we had liked. So again, we like this trade back in for Google, now starting to go upside there. NVIDIA also $1, so we'll work on that. Robinhood, we just looked at it. It does not, it comes into 43, but not low enough for us on that one. Coinbase probably going the other way right here because of crypto. Crypto's right now at 84.5. So Coinbase trying to get lower, which might be a little buy opportunity down there at 175 if we can get into that one more time. So that would be something. What else are you guys looking at right now? Thank you, Tony, and for everybody there in the chat as well. 2 for 3 today and green, but honestly, Apple is what sort of got me going early there. We should have... maybe I'll play a break low. Like, if this market fails, we are getting more and more out of this trade. So we only have about a quarter left of Google right now as it goes right back up into pre-market highs. So that's going to be less and less. But unfortunately, we still have about half of NVIDIA because I am trying to let this thing go. So NVIDIA could turn out to be red if it does break below 111. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that. I think what I'll do is get some more out here in the teens. I just put 112.17. Hopefully, just stopped on us. Hopefully we can get that fill and then just get out at another 5% and then ease back a little bit on that one. So yeah, Nike, some talks about there. SPY.
Bull opens in about 20 seconds or so. Weebull halted down. Weebull halted now to the upside. It'll open in about 10, 15 seconds. I like VWAP in here. We like that $30 level, but it didn't do a very good job of holding until it actually halted up. So as long as we can hold on to the original halt price 30, I want to look for some long continuations on Weebull, like any dip into the 30 level. I just realized we can always have a stop out before, like anticipate a dip. If it happens, I'll already have a stop in place, but I want to be a buyer in front of that 30 level. It's already halted twice. I suspect there might be a bunch of halts on this stock. I don't want to be punching any highs because of the lack of liquidity. You're going to get slipped up top, and then if they false break it, you'll probably get slipped in a down halt. So looking for a pullback, VWAP, $30 even, both going to come into play. And then those Chinese ADRs just continue to rally. So you're still, and actually a little bit more parabolic now on Alibaba into the 115 level. So it's really starting to stretch. 117, big prior resistance, whether you're looking at them, whether you're looking at JD, Pinduoduo, all looking incredibly strong up there. Tesla, I see in the chat, Shadow Rap saying Tesla holding above VWAP. Well, the one I'm looking at, it hasn't really changed much, is Apple. We took our shot at 07, and now it's starting to hold the line pretty clearly at 06. But note how you see Tesla above VWAP and looking relatively strong, Google above VWAP and looking strong, but Apple retesting the low has yet to show enough strength in here. So since it held the volume weighted average price, just going to see how well it observes this downward trend that you got going on here in Apple. Until it can hold that 07 mark that I like, I don't think I want to be back into it. Pfizer starting to consolidate underneath. I think this goes red. Discontinue your GLP-1. I mean, that's all the rage as far as I'm concerned. Probably opens them up to have to make some kind of an acquisition to get it right with their oral. Maybe that's going to be Viking. That's why Viking's up today. But the only short that we're in here is going to be Pfizer. And hopefully we get a shot at Alibaba. Yeah. Wow, this is so strong.
All right, so we'll take out another piece of Google. So again, it's a good thing that we just talked about getting more out of NVIDIA. We actually take that opportunity. Just quickly here, just so I can show this. So we got some out at 20s and then again at 30s here on NVIDIA, and we do take the opportunity to get some more out of Google. But Google's now trying to go back up to the upside. So no price targets for GOOGL right now other than higher. If we can get another play up there at 160.90, we'll do that. So Google and NVIDIA right now, so far, so good. It's now and it's happening with ADRs.
Indeed it is. Here's the S&P 500, certainly trying to hold on to the support here around 540. And still up on the day, even though we are very much removed and below these pre-market highs. Same with the Nasdaq. We had Goldman Sachs reporting earnings this morning. Started a pretty big earnings week here. We had some bank earnings on Friday, but throughout this week, we're going to get reports from names like Johnson & Johnson, Bank of America, ASML, UNH, and Netflix. Goldman Sachs CEO David Solomon, though, warning that there could be some potential recession in the United States. Here's Apple. This name was poised to have a great morning here on these after the U.S. customs policies showed that there could be a bit of a change with regards to what names could be exempt from tariffs, specifically on the tech and chip side. But Donald Trump and his team came out here and said that they are still looking for these chip tariffs regardless, and any exemption would certainly be temporary. Then we have NVIDIA on watch this morning. The company announced that it's going to be working with its manufacturing partners, including TSM, to design and build factories that will produce NVIDIA AI supercomputers at home in America. Weebull, the last name on watch here, B-U-L-L. This name quietly had a business combination here on Friday. Nice push to the upside for B-U-L-L, about $300 market cap as of the pre-market. Back to you.
300 million market cap. Yeah, it's not, we were talking about it being not a lot of shares and just thinly traded. It's already done Weebull this is. It's already done 5 million in volume, and just with somehow it didn't halt there, just breaking to 39. So, go figure on that. It just went 33 to 39. That's a pretty hefty bounce. Obviously, we're not going to get that $30 level. I've already canceled my stop underneath 30 because I'm not even sure we see that price ever again on Weebull. Maybe we look back and just see if it can hold this other halt price at 33. Weebull up 180% and still looking incredibly strong. So we're holding the line here at 72, the pre-market lows on Micron. Still looking for this to get into the volume weighted average price at 73. I'm going to offer out in front of the 3/4 mark and see if we can't get filled in here. Just going to try to go long off that 72. We've been able to take it out a couple of times in these lower high trends, and it's not just them, it's pretty much, and you look at most of the other chip names. Why I liked Micron relatively is, well, NVIDIA broke its pre-market low and is consolidating underneath it, whereas Micron's at least holding on to the gap and trying to hold that pre-market low. So a little bit, just a kernel of relative strength that you'll be able to see there. Man, that bull stock, Weebull is just churning through volume. Every time I look over at the level 2, like you just see like spikes in volume, but so much of it's going through in the dark that just be careful trading this. Liquidity, depending on what you're used to trading, I would probably suggest if you're like a small cap trader, you're probably used to this. If you're not used to trading small caps, then this is going to be a little bit dangerous for you. Okay, now we're starting to see some strength in Apple. Apple trying to catch that bid off the 07. You've double bottomed. You finally are taking this trend since the open when it tried to bounce. First bounce, second bounce, closing above the trend line in here with a bottom at 206. So Micron's working back into the upside, want to hold it through 73, but Apple looking like it's ready to finally put a salvo off this 206. I was only in it once. We're taking our second shot once we close this candle. I'm nibbling in now. Some buying just accelerated in Apple. We'll nibble in now. As always, we're giving it to the low. And I just heard something in my ear about Fannie and Freddie, but I didn't catch it. There was something in the news about Fannie and Freddie Mae there.
Yeah, it's really nice to come back and see what's happening right here in this market. Google right now, $2. NVIDIA now, $1.50. We are really starting to bump now in this market. So a couple of great opportunities hitting right here. Yeah, I'll have to find out. That Fannie and Freddie trade right now looks like this.
I don't know what it is.
So I don't know, but I just stepped away there, got some water, so cheers up. I'm glad, man. It's always nice to come back to these wins. So it's going to be a nice positive day for me over here right now as we just follow our rules. The rules are simple. Stick to your plan, stick to your notes, stick to the trades that you believe in, and follow your own rules. We get out of Apple, as Neil was just saying there. This is the only trade that we have that was a loser, and it wasn't even that bad. And then there goes NVIDIA right back up to VWAP again. So let's take some more out. I said to you that we still had 50% left of this trade, and that is what we had. So now that it comes all the way back up there, we let it breathe, and there it goes. It's Rip City right now in the market, and we're just glad to be here with you guys because it's another one. We talked about last week, the kind of weeks that we were having. And right now, Neil, we have almost $4, $3 and change on combined so far to the upside as Neil and I both long right now in the market. So let's go over and see what ADR is up to.
No news per se on Fannie and Freddie, but a very interesting headline. Bill Pulte, who runs Fannie and Freddie, basically said there will be new, or he runs Fannie Mae anyhow. He said there will be news on FNMA coming shortly. He posted this on X about 3 minutes ago. So no news except for the person who runs it saying there will be news. Back to you.
Okay, that's a little weird, but
amazing.
Yeah. Well, look, it's moving either way. Like if you're watching on the OTC markets, it's moving around on that. Just be careful. I mean, OTC, wild price action to say the least. If you end up going over there, we just came right back in. We just went 07 to 0770 on Apple, right back into the 07. Prior bar lows got a hold about 206 and a half in here. Oh goodness, Weebull. All right, it's now a full. Look, it's just gone now. We can forget about buying it at VWAP or anything along those lines. It's now at $42 here on Weebull. It's just a liquidity squeeze here. Probably the entire thing's been soaked up. So I'll wait for it to open. I don't know if we're going to get any real trades off Weebull, at least anything that I would have liked. At this point, it's kind of gone. So we like that 30 level, sitting at 42. I'm not chasing that move that far, so we're just going back over to Apple at that 07 level. Micron is starting to curl a little bit here. Was able to get to VWAP, volume weighted average price, but all morning long, that's been a barrier here for this stock. So 72 to 73 seems like where it's settling in. You're going to have to start holding that bid at 72 for this to look any better. IBIT, same story. Bitcoin, holding doesn't matter the percentage point, but holding underneath 85,000. Like we can't seem to break that. We're 84.6. That's at the volume weighted average price. It's at least broken the trend. So if we can get some strength here above 48.13, 48.14, then I can find myself in a long, which I haven't gotten to a long yet in IBIT. But that Weebull, bit of a miss. I think you had to take it on the actual halt, unfortunately. You had to either take this halt here or as it was coming back through this halt price on Weebull. Unfortunate, but you know, we'll see if we can't get a dip at some point.
All right. So MU, Apple, Nvidia, Google, FISA. All right. Weebull could be a big move. Yeah, that is for sure.
It's already a big move.
Guys, like I said, we're hitting our goals. It's you could see with Neil and I, trading some different names, and it's not the easiest of markets right now. As someone even said, whack-a-mole time. And yeah, I mean, back and forth, and it's just like, I'm going to try to stick with what we've been doing. That goes right up to VWAP, so we get some out there on NVIDIA. We can have a look at its cousin here in AMD and just have a quick look at that. Again, back up to VWAP, so that makes sense. Again, 90, 94.50. We said on purpose that we are going to stick with NVIDIA. It's been the stock that I think I've made the most money on in the past little while. Maybe it's been the Qs, but at the end of the day, I really thought this trade was basing out, right? And we liked NVIDIA. We had written it down right here in the fact that we had written down 111, so it comes right into 111 to 110. So we were going to give this to 110 anyways, so it is nice to get $2 on it as it does come back in. But that's the one thing that I've done a little bit differently now is that I'm trying to basically just base out the trades and take them out as they go up, not worry about one-to-one, not worry about anything, and just hope that when it does make this move, we do have half on. And that is what we wind up doing, getting out quickly of our losing trades and putting back, looking somewhere else and putting on different names, right? So, yeah, Apple is at that zone. I just saw, you were just in Apple, but I guess you just got out of it, as it looks like it's breaking the low again, Neil, so there you go.
I hold nothing through the low on a trend, ever. That's a rule of mine. If I'm taking a mean reversion, I'm never holding it through the prior bar low. Look at the second it broke that low right in here. Just come to my chart. There we go. Thank you, Fabian. The second it breaks the low, I'm instantly out. Take your shot at it, but if it doesn't go, it doesn't go. It's going to be the one that I like the most, so it's going to be the one I lose the most on to that long side. Okay, forget about Bull for a quick little second here because I have to get over to Alibaba. Weebull's just gone nuts, but Alibaba has finally broken trend just now. I was obviously just over on Apple when it happened, so it's right about this one. It was 115.5 that it broke the trend line up, and it's holding around 115. So Alibaba, along with the other Chinese ADRs, has been incredibly strong all morning long, looking for a mean reversion back into the volume weighted average price. So we waited for our setup. It was either this or 117. It looks like we're getting to
yes, sir.
The trend break first. Is Randy with the red?
This guy never.
Thanks, Randy. Appreciate it.
Guy never fails, man. Thank you, Randy. One more time, and yeah, good talk there. And like we were saying, man, different strokes for different folks, right? You got to watch your strategies, mark them down, and then at the end of the day, just go with what's been working for you, right? And this market has been very different every day. You're going to have days where the market is absolutely insane and you're like, wow, this is a little easier than we thought or I thought or whatever. And there's going to be other days where it's just frustrating because, these bottoms don't hold. And then it's whoops, back into that downside again. So we'll just stay with what we're doing here. Robinhood, not into 43 again. Let's check out, I can't even get a sip of coffee here. I'm going to do it anyways. Let's check out what JP Morgan's doing. Wow, okay. So bank's definitely going the other way, as I know you just mentioned.
This is ridiculous. Oh.
Maybe I should look at Weebull because
Weebull's almost at $50 at this point. The FOMO's real on Weebull. And I think sometimes you just got to take the break. But what's crazy about this is actually it halted before it broke that opening range high. So I'm looking at it, I was like, I should have just taken that break. Well, you couldn't have taken that breakout apparently because it halted pennies before the breakout happened. So the only way you could have gotten in was to take the open, which you're allowed to use limit orders on open. You could just say, I'm not paying up to 36. I'll pay to 34 because my stop will be here underneath like 33, and then you're only risking $1.50. So you could use limit orders, not market on open orders. But Weebull, off to the races. I'm sure there's people that were looking long on that one. and actually able to grab it. We're into our second short, and that's, like I said, Alibaba on a trend reversal. I want to add at 115. Ideally, I wanted to add just above 115 and play back into the volume-weighted average price. But the entire group has been very bullish here today. Like if you're looking at, I know I'm looking at Alibaba, Pinduoduo's already pulled back into the volume-weighted average price. JD.com, similarly here. Super strong. It's doing in the midst of a little bit of a pullback, so a bit of a hiccup here at the highs on these Chinese ADRs, at least for now. Micron's holding fort, so that one looks like it wants to make a run at that 73. Filled in the gap. Well, it didn't fill in the entirety of the gap. It filled in some of the gap, and then bouncing off the pre-market low. But you really had to wait for it to get underneath 73 here. It still can't break this high. You start breaking out volume-weighted average price on some of these tech names, and it's going to get real spicy for the overall market, because the Nasdaq is holding that lower high as well. Second we start finding strength above 19.1, then adding to the longs will make plenty of sense at some higher prices instead of waiting for the bottom.
I just want to say something out here. What's up to our good friend here, Ray's in Florida or something like that. Said, why are we just trading the same 4 stocks? For me, it's quite simple. Money. I don't know. I don't really know what else our job is other than to show you winning trades and trades we like, whether or not they're winning or not. I guess that's not our job. Our job is just to show you trades that we're in and why we like them. And, you know, so for me, I mean, this is exactly what I feel like I'm supposed to do here is look at you guys, talk about that. Neil's been looking at Weebull. I don't think you had an execution on it yet, but definitely looking for opportunities there as well. So my eyes are always looking everywhere, but it's honestly, I've decided to use obviously more shares, trade less names, and you can ask us again in the chat, 100%. I know the guys on the midday, they don't have a problem saying they're green, they're red, they're this, they're that, so neither do we. So you guys can ask any of us those questions at any time, and that way it'll be a good judgment of why are we trading these, like you're asking us those questions. I'm trying to give you a little bit of an answer here. But at the same time, I am also trying to find more opportunities. So I have a scanner here, and we want to thank eSignal again for all of this. So right now, Starbucks is flying around a little bit. Unfortunately, the eSignal scanners won't.
Bank is also strong.
Yeah, banks. JP Morgan's not very strong. But also right now, Starbucks getting that, you know, coming in here. Unfortunately, what I was saying, was that we don't link, unfortunately, our platform with it. So I have to look for these individually. So like right now, Tesla's flashing. So we can look over here and see there's a VWAP break and a break lower right now. So, you know, looking for some of these opportunities. So it's not like, so shout out to you, Ray, there in Florida. It's not like I'm resting on anything right now. We're talking about getting out. We're letting some of these trades run a little bit and then getting out when we see fit. So Google already at the top. My problem is, as I've said this a couple times, if I'm going to use, like, I've been in some big winners and then gone on to other names and then sort of left those ones, and then you look back and it's like, what happened? Especially with these markets these days, I think you can get enough of a return on the stocks that you're looking at, right? So yeah, again, I've only traded these 3. I'll let Neil talk about his trades, but I've only traded Google. Apple was real quick, man. That was within the first 10 minutes. We were out of that, and I'm sure glad that we did that. The only thing that I feel like I should have done on Apple was short right there. That 206 break was pretty easy to go short. Again, sometimes when you're thinking a little bit one way, it could be the complete other. So I was going long on that name, plus long Google, plus long NVIDIA. Wasn't really thinking short, so should have definitely flipped that up. So, you know, again, it's as one of the better bands around. I don't know if they're still around now. I just saw that. I think they did a Coachella number, but today, for me, is a Green Day. No Dookie on today's trading other than Apple.
Dookie is the saddest character in the world.
Oh, it's a character in The Wire? Yeah, it's a Green Day song, their album. What's going on?
That I wouldn't know. I'm not. I wouldn't know Green Day.
You just mentioned Starbucks here. It's worth noting SPUX certainly to the downside today. Apparently there's some chatter circulating here that comparable sales or same-store comparable sales could come in softer than expected for Q1 due to these tariffs. Apparently there are also, though, some signs of improvement with better customer experiences, operations, and ongoing changes to the menu. So SPUX here, I'm seeing this note flying around on social media. Certainly one to watch. You just mentioned it there, so I thought I'd chime in on that. Back to you.
No, I actually assumed because Nike was flying, there was an assumption in my brain that Starbucks was up.
Right.
But it's not. And Nike just pulled back itself. So Alibaba just very quickly, everybody, it did make that curl. It's holding 115 to 114.5, up 6.5% on Alibaba. But you are getting that trend break, pull back into VWAP is the plan of action. Just because I said it, I'm a little surprised. Nike was just rocketing with this bounce we had in the market, and now it's starting to lose that bid. That's not a very bullish looking reversal, but it's still a pretty decent looking stock in there for Nike. I'd say it's a little bit quiet, but was stronger than 2 seconds ago. Now only 2.5% in to said upside. I mean, Micron's not really doing a heck of a lot, but that Apple, maybe it does want 200. You start to think about how big this gap is. 198. We closed at $198. That is a hefty gap down if we continue this trend, and it's really starting to drag these futures down along with it, whether it's some of the chips, Tesla, which was screaming earlier. Now on the 15-minute, Tesla looks like a false breakout of the high, and then lower highs being put in. So on that 15-minute chart, not exactly looking as bullish as things did like minutes after that open. So Tesla underneath VWAP in here. We're still in Pfizer. Thankfully, this is just going sideways, holding the lower high in Pfizer, but it's starting to hold a volume-weighted average price as well. I don't want this filling in the gap to 22.5. So again, if it breaks a high, great. Otherwise, we're sitting in this one on the negative news story with their GLP-1 being suspended. Well, their oral GLP-1, being suspended. They haven't been able to figure it out. It's been beating them up for that. And you're seeing some big strength over in Viking Therapeutics because of that. VKTX has been ramping to the upside. Candidly, I own some Viking.
All right. Good. Yeah, Viking. Those stocks have been. I was talking about XBI and all that stuff. Ugh. Wish some of that would get going. All right. We were sitting there at 111.50 for NVIDIA. We did not get any, but if it does come back down in, I mean, look, I'm kind of glad we didn't. Well, I'm not glad we didn't get any. I mean, I'd have loved to get some because now it's $1. But we were bidding there, so we just did miss that 111.50 on NVIDIA, but looky, man, now we start to go back up to the upside. Nice trade here for NVDA back upside right now. So, all right, let's go over to Dara.
IWM looking identical to the Nasdaq and the S&P 500. Gap to the upside, then a drop right now, just kind of wallowing and consolidating. Trading here around $186 for IWM. We just crossed back into that 186 level. First up here, we're going to be talking about KIDZ, I apologize, class over holdings. We've got about a 3.7 million share float for this name. Now, this morning, they obtained an official trademark registration for class over. So good look there for KIDS. No news on MP. This is a materials corp, but 18% short float for this ticker, near day's highs. Also near day's highs is BULL. Weebull, this name began publicly trading late last week after a business combination with SK Growth Opportunities, which used to trade there as SKGR. Now trading as BULL, near day's highs, roughly $300 million market cap as of this morning. Back to you.
Thank you, Adair. There was some talk with MP. There was some talk of the administration doing it was like a rare earth stockpile.
Right.
Or critical metals stockpile.
Yes.
If they were to do that, that would be positive for MP. I would suppose MP Materials is going to be flying around on that. Yeah, super strong. So critical metals, what did I call it? Stockpile. I didn't hear any details with regards to it, but that was the headline this morning, and that'll be the reason why. I mean, it's up 20%. So clearly, that's looking pretty good for them. I have not been able to get any reloads on Micron, as now we're just sitting at 73. These highs. I'm still waiting for 72s. Our original price that we liked, 72.5 as a target, was simply going back into this prior resistance. It doesn't fill in the entirety of the gap. At this point, it needs to get off the pot at 73 even. Like 73 is holding like a brick wall. You punch through there, I think we go for those higher lows for sure. Great, Ron Williams. That's great news. I wasn't really paying attention to the launch, but the Blue Ocean launch was successful. So I guess that means Katy Perry went into space this morning. So good for them and good for Amazon. Or Bezos, I should say.
Yeah, good for her. Nice move there.
He sent his wife and Katy Perry and someone else.
Yeah, there was 6 women, I believe, that went up there today. So congratulations to all women out there. I guess that's a good look. I don't know.
I'd love to go to space.
Yeah, maybe you will one day. You need to get that Katy Perry money, my guy.
Oh, that's the problem.
At first, and then, yeah, that's going to be a big problem. All right, so 112.14 right now for NVIDIA, man. We just stay on, as we said, man, what's been working for us so far today, and it's been a good day here. So, all right, that's Apple. We can have a quick look at that as well, as Apple making some moves around. I just saw Fannie Mae just go for a nice little dump, so I actually shorted that. So there's a nice little win for us right there on FNMA, just showing you that we do different things around there. There's that move, bang, right back into $6. So a nice little move there on Franny, and you can also look at its evil cousin Freddie as well in that space if you want to look over there. All right, Amazon, don't take a look. Hide your kids, hide your wife today, because it's been ain't nobody got time for this stock here for Amazon, as that makes that nice move off of 183. Was not expecting that. I didn't mean to say that story about how we're buying the air fryer from Costco. I don't mean to upset anybody, Amazon shareholders right there. But for right now, Amazon is making that move up after being whacked early, like 188 down to 182. So this is the thing, like if you've got some bids down here and you're thinking like, hey, can we get, this is just the Nasdaq 1 minute, but can we get over here on some of these names back into the downside, like we've seen many stocks been in the last couple weeks, or last week for sure, 170, 175. Sometimes you want to put those bids out because you don't know out of nowhere. Like I wasn't expecting Amazon to be down here today with the Nasdaq up 1.5%. So although the Nasdaq looks strong, there is some pockets of weakness here for sure. I'm still glad that we're still right now, this for you, Ozan. Nicely done. Cooking today. Positive day here for us as we hold on. And there it is. There's a 161 fill on Google. So, yeah, man, we're excited. We got 30 minutes until swimming pool time, but we've got less than 5 seconds until kneel time, which is right now.
Yes, sir. And it was first commission-free trading. Robinhood made that happen, but the next shift is even bigger. Limited risk trading. Trade the Pool is rewriting the stock trading rules. Your only risk is a flat one-time fee as low as $47. How is that possible? We're trading on the firm's capital. No deposits are needed, no personal capital at stake. This is about breaking barriers, not your saving account. Just real opportunity without the fear. Scan the QR code to get 10% off and join tradethepool.com. Link also in the description. Shout out to tradethepool.com, bringing this section of the show to you. We just finally cracked through the cellar. Now you have the rounded bottom is going to be in. It looks like a reverse head and shoulders, whatever you want to call it. Got some flack over the rounded bottom thing before. So if we hold on to VWAP, no longer want 72.5 on dips, we'll look for it to hold. We'll look for this to hold the volume weighted average price and try to add into those longs. We haven't had anything in IBIT yet, but it's now managed to hold on to the volume weighted average price, at least on a closing basis. A little pullbacks, and we'll see if we can hold. It's about 84.5 on Bitcoin, right at this $48 level, has been setting up pretty well. Yeah, I see it, Elizabeth Stott. I almost said Scott. It's Stott in the chat on Intel. Intel is, yes, breaking higher, but it's nowhere near that. It's like 21.5 to 21.8. And it was so far away that I didn't even bother putting it in the note because I felt like if we're getting to that level, all you know what is breaking loose. Intel's up 5%, but I like the shorts much, much higher than where it is, at least today on Intel. Just a different day.
All right, everybody. You can look at some IBIT. We're just getting out on the top end of these trades right now. These are the same trades we've had all day right now. Google's $1.70, Nvidia's $1.10. Okay, I saw something, IBIT. Let me just go over there and quickly have a quick look. Yeah, it kind of makes sense. On IBIT right now. So again, breaking through, for right now, this looks like a pretty decent trade, 48.1. So this break of 48.10 is an opportunity right there to get in. So I think that there's something there if we do come back into 48.10. We're getting close to that right now. I'm not 100% convinced that this market is a long. You know, we had written down the TQs today at $48. Let's have a quick little look to see how low that got. So that only got to 50. Again, I was thinking that we could close that whole gap. And at that point, we'd really want to try to, not attack, but we'd want to look at the futures if we did start to come back into there. It was a nice dip buy opportunity into $50. I don't trade $50 on these stocks as if it's, you know, an Uber or like an actual equity, because the TQs is a triple levered. So that has, we talked about it, options decay and so on and so forth. So you never really know what levels are going to hold on this. But if anything, that's the 50-period moving average right there on the 5-minute chart. So I think a pullback into 50-50 right now gives us some kind of a base that we can go off of. Oh, boy. So right now, we just continue to go higher in this market. We should be long something. Look, holding on to these, we've now made everything back in spades, like doubled what we lost on Apple just by holding these two trades. Yeah, I mean, that's what trading is, right? I mean, we talk about it. We're not sitting in these chairs to be read. I mean, we'll be read some days, but definitely today is not one of them days. And I think last week, maybe one day, maybe the week before, maybe one day. The days don't matter. It's about the nets at the end of the day, because if your one red day is 5 times your red 5x your green, then you don't have a strategy, man. You should probably rethink those strategies if that's a consistent thing. Obviously, some trades are going to go for you and some aren't. So, you know, that's the sort of thing. Like Google going to the upside, where did we pick that out? That's not on our watch list. That's not anywhere. We just had big tech. You got to find names. Google was actually weaker than the market when we wrote it down here on the sticky note, but we just do what we do, man. We read the charts, we figure it out, and we like the 160 break on Google, and we actually even wrote it down. And we actually wrote down exactly what would happen. 160 break, play the move back. If we just look at that, and I'm just going over this because you only need these 2 or 3 trades today, and you'd be here, right? And so it's just what we talked about right here. 157 dip buy, we didn't get that 160 break on. Wait for a break and retest to go, right? We've seen many fail breaks and then the retest. I think it happens here. So that is like, what's up, Ozan and all the traders there, Adam, everybody, Erie Pages. This is why we write down notes. You know, there's the break of 160. There's the move back down in. There's the move higher. It's exactly what we wrote down, and just always happy when we're able to make those trades, which is why I get upset when I write something down and then don't take it, because most of the ideas, you know, are tested and ones that I believe in and ones really that I should take. So hi, Adam, and everybody else out there. What's up, Chef Joe? I'm just really glad to have the same people watching every day, because you guys have been watching me through this whole journey and know what kind of you know, trader we've become and what we've become here on the show. So I do want to thank everybody for your continued patronage with us here at Trader TV Live. It's Miss Adara's world, and we're all just living in it. Crypto?
Not crypto related, but worth noting, Deutsche Bank actually just commenting now they expect the Fed will cut rates by 25 basis points in December. This is actually a little bit different from their original forecast of no cuts this year. So again, Deutsche Bank revising their forecast on rates. They're now seeing 1 cut in December of this year of 25 basis points. Let's talk about here one of the most notable individuals in crypto. His name is Michael Saylor here, co-founder and executive chairman of Strategy, formerly known as MicroStrategy. They acquired more Bitcoin this weekend. Michael Saylor hinted to this in a post online, then confirmed here, of course, through filings. 3,459 Bitcoin were acquired with a value of nearly $286 million. So the company now holds 531,644 BTC. So Bitcoin holdings continue to expand there for MSTR. Here's Bitcoin on the daily chart. We're at a really interesting level here. We had this downtrend, right? This double top, rounded top, and continued downtrend for BTC. But we had a little bit of a double bottom here, at least locally, near that $75,000 level last week. And then we're continuing to push to the upside. Right now, though, some clear resistance at 86,000. This seems to be, as of right now, a key level for BTC to break. Let's see if they're able to, or if it's able to break above this level coming forward. Now, what are some of these other crypto names doing today? Let's take a look. Bitcoin, basically flat here in the day. Ethereum up 4%, though, well above that 1650 level. Solana up about 3%. Dogecoin and Cardano both relatively flat. So really mixed day here for a lot of these crypto plays. And back to you.
Just on a quick, before we go back to some of the stocks here, but I remember hearing somewhere that Saylor's price is now close to that 70, like low to mid 70s range, which was that big level on the daily. Remember where we broke out from? Oh yeah, that's right, the scaling thing. That 74,000 level that we broke out from on the daily, like if his average price is now around there, that just became even more significant in terms of a key price level. So like, I don't know if we get back, but I think the range is pretty set. We can't seem to break past 90 to 91. We can't seem to break underneath 75,000. I think we hang out here for a while. It doesn't surprise me one bit when that happens. All right, so trend in, trend out. Since we put in that lower high, if we break underneath this prior bar, like remember, the first bounce at the open stalled right here at like 73, 75 on Micron. You get that V shape, it broke trend, bought, it then held the low, so we add on the wick hold to the 72 level, plays to VWAP. If we break 73.4, I'm out, either waiting for the bottom at 72 or a bounce here off of 72.5. Bitcoin's still holding a lot of strength, however, though. Looking really, really strong. Yeah. Doesn't even want to pull back into that 48.15-ish level, call it that 84.5. So if we don't get that kind of a push, I'll wait for a failed break of the high. So breaks the high and pulls back on any kind of a high break over on IBIT. That'll be the play that we look for. And the bull run continues. Kind of speechless on this one. You just try not to get the FOMO. You want to take a shot at it a lot of times early, but depending, it might go into a halt here at 50. Nope, false halt. 53.32 is the current halt band, or at least, 53.32 is the current halt band, so it might halt up here in just a quick little second. But the super strong name, we weren't able to get any of the longs through that 30 level. And as I said, I haven't chased it. I did pay for locates in case there's some ridiculousness at like $75 or $100 in that range. So it just actually false halted and has now moved the band even higher. So Weebull now 300% on the quietest SPAC on Friday ever. I don't know that it's going to be able to hold this. No one ever went broke taking profits, all that good stuff that we usually say. So yeah, a lot of winners in this long. Jarhead saying, at what point do we look at the bull short? Well, it was at 25 pre-market and 50 was first resistance. Anytime that happens, the only places I'd even look at are 75 and 100. Just based on that. If it's going $25 at a time, then I'm not even considering it until it shows me 75. It's some kind of ridiculous exhaustion. It has to be absurd parabolic to want to try to take a shot at this.
Which one? Okay, perfect. I could do the E-signal one with the back of my hand. Well, people always say like it's like I don't even know. I guess it's like you don't know what the back of your hand looks like sometimes. All right, so Google, Nvidia, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, all bumping around. We can have a quick look at FMCC here today. Again, ADRs come with some of the stories there. There was talk about pending news coming here. So we got in and out of FMCC. It didn't do much, and then we were only able to take that one breakdown short there, which worked all the way to $6, and then we got out, and right now it's just doing this. So, all right, yeah, and I've already said you guys can tag us and ask us anything. So what's up, Jarhead? What's up, everybody like that right now? Hey, what's up, Haytham? How much are you still holding of NVIDIA? So I know I tried to get, the fact that we're up right here right now, it is a bang up trade, man, and it is diamond hands for sure. But I'm only holding right now about 20% left. It hasn't been breaking VWAP, so we're gonna try to hold this out. We're having a monster. I know I say this is not a monster day, but it's a pretty good day so far for us as we hold on to Google now $1.80 in the money. And when things work out for you, this is what's supposed to happen, right? Good hold there by Nia getting Micron back as well. So, some of these longs have really been working, and we've been sort of judging these as it goes. I'm still trying to wait for an Apple dip buy opportunity as well. So that's what we're doing. I think Apple could be here right now. Maybe a 206 break gets me going a little bit there for Apple. So I could see that being a play sooner rather than later. But what I need you to do right now is support the show and scan that e-signal QR code right in front of you right there. It's pretty important. I've already showed you some of those scanners. That's really what I'm relying on right now, is looking for these opportunities, looking at the chat, looking at my own notes. But you can't have notes unless you have reliable software to back it up, right? And for me, I'm charting as soon as I get into the office here, opening up eSignal, looking back at past days, seeing what was going on different exchanges, and then just going for it, right? And that's what eSignal provides you. It gives you all that data. It gives you overnight data. I can look what's happening in China overnight. You can chart over 500 symbols, and you don't have to worry about them having Weebull or anything on there. This is ICE. They own the NYSE. I think it's over 10. It's more than 10 exchanges worldwide. So the data is legit. I love the screener. Make sure you do scan that QR code. After all of this talk, you're probably saying, man, that must be super expensive. Well, what about free 99? You know, so scan that QR code, get it going, and the rest, as we say around here, is history. So thank you again for watching the show. Thank you for asking us about our days and these trades that we have on board. This is why we're here, man, to discuss this, talk trading, and try to show you that there is a possibility here to make money and have fun at the same time. That's the whole point of the show. So we want to thank everybody for watching and your continued support.
Yeah, thank you, everybody, and appreciate you. There was just a hefty pullback in Weebull. It didn't halt to the downside, but first I did trail out of Micron. It broke that little bull flag that it had in there. So like I said, either it holds VWAP or 72.5 or 72. Like those kind of the obvious points that I'd look for a bit of a re-entry. Weebull, no halt down, but it just rejected. I mean, it's $55. Just cracked 50. I mean, that was a good $6 or $7 down in there. So we easily went like 10, 12% in just a few minutes, but no halt to the downside. So I don't know. I thought maybe it got to the down halt band. Maybe it gets into VWAP and gives you a chance to play off that. Starting to calm down a bit. You haven't halted for a good 20 minutes now, or just even more than that. So calming down. I don't know that I would want to buy it $10 away from the volume average price. But if we do get a dip a little closer to 40, that might provide like a second salvo to set upside. I believe we are going back to the desk with ADRs. No?
Google, new highs for Google.
Reduced sector watch here from here. It's worth noting, too, I want to let you guys know the information reporting that OpenAI apparently believing that it can charge $20,000 per month for a doctorate-level AI. So OpenAI here on watch. Keep an eye, I guess, on MSFT. And speaking of Microsoft, technology services doing quite well today. Google here, really strong. Netflix strong. Palantir up almost 8%. IBM strong. We know a lot of these AI names are on watch. There's been some talk here, at least some suggestions of tariff exemptions for these tech names. Though Donald Trump and Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick have made it very clear that there will be a time where there will be tariffs on these names, specifically with regards to semiconductors. Electronic technology really strong as well in that vein. Finance looking great. JP Morgan, yesterday's or Friday's winner in terms of earnings in the bank space, a little bit to the downside, but Berkshire Hathaway, MasterCard, Bank of America all really strong. So is Goldman Sachs in earnings day one. Retail trade looking good. Health technology, consumer services, producer manufacturing, utilities, consumer durables. But health services has actually held up pretty well, relatively speaking, over the last few weeks. Actually down in the day, led by an almost 3% drop in United Health. Back to you.
Thank you, Dara. I have one trend reversion that I'm looking for right now on Intel. Like I said, we'll buy dips in Micron, try to stick with that one to the long side. But holding since the open dip and testing the current trend on a 3-minute. If it breaks underneath, short to VWAP. Shout out to Ross for the super chat. Ross in Rayon. What are the chances Bull does the same thing as Newsmax did 2 weeks ago? Non-zero. I'm trying to say, no two squeezes are exactly the same. The principles are all the same for this. Not a lot of shares outstanding, so easy to kind of be soaked up there. Like one or two firms just kind of buy up the available shares, and there's nothing left for all the people that are going short, and they just hold on to them. Eventually, they'll release, and it tends to come back. Oops, let me go back over to Weebull for you. There's no way to predict that you can do something like Newsmax or HKD. Those types of things are they're outliers. They're not black swans because they happen from time to time, and we know the circumstances under which they would. So it's non-zero. I don't know if there's necessarily enough juice in it yet, but it's only day one. So I'd never bet for something like this. I think that's why if you're ever shorting it, make sure you have a very distinct plan. Holding shorts in this overnight can be ridiculously profitable. We don't do it here. Anytime we take a trade on a short, believe me, we're getting out either rapidly or getting out before the end of the day. There's a tremendous amount of risk holding this overnight in either direction. That goes without saying. But you can't predict whether it'll be an HKD or a Newsmax. Those are very rare circumstances. Most of these types of names, they go for a couple of days, and then the fund ends up rug pulling some people, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, great to trade. We had that fat pipe last week. That was a good one. I think that was one of the only ones there of the IPO craziness that we had on the midday show. They'll be having some of those. So we'll look at Weebull. I mean, I probably should have traded it today, but like I said, man, it's going to wind up being, decent that we were able to look elsewhere. But again, I'm always looking at VWAP and things like that and levels that have held in the past. We haven't tested VWAP or the 50-period moving average. So for me, if I'm looking over here, I'm kind of eyes closed right now and just waiting for 38, like basically 40. If 38 breaks, that's actually 39.50. If that winds up breaking, then I think there is downside into 28 and change, even lower potentially here for Weebull. So just be careful on that. But thank you again for the chat of supers. All right, so we just got out a bunch of times there for NVIDIA. You guys are asking about the trade. And if you've been following the trades today, it's been one of these kind of days. But at the end of it all, it can always go sour, right? And so we do say, watch your P's and Q's and make sure that you dot your I's and all of that when the winners are there, because they could fall back in any time. We actually took another out on Google as well, as that went into the highs. This one, I shouldn't be taking anything out, as it just keeps on Rip City. So we'll just keep on watching out for Google. This is going to be the trade of the day for me, for sure, as it is just nothing but upside right here for GOO. G and GL. Some of the gun has been turned a little bit to Meta here, and we'll see what they're doing, as we do know that they have their look in at, I think it was Europe today, trying to talk about Meta. It is.
Yeah, they
right?
called them a monopoly.
Yeah, so they're going to figure out what they have to do. So we look elsewhere, and we look at Google today, and that's just running to the high side. So that's going to be a great look for us there. All in all, Google. So we'll just keep on watching that. Did Robinhood get to $43 yet? Yes, it did. It got to 43.20. That was, again, if we're just going to look at it, we could talk about the trades that we've all had on, but I'm hoping that most of them are based on notes and ideas that we had. And right there, Robinhood 43 should have took it, man. It got down to 43.20. We were waiting at 43.15s. It looks like it got to 20 exactly. I could have punched it when it was down there. We didn't do it. It was a falling knife. I thought we could get a bid down there, and we didn't. So we missed that opportunity. I hope some of you were on it, regardless of what's been happening. In the financials, JP Morgan down, right? JP Morgan really getting hit today. Maybe it is a cycle over into Goldman. Oh boy, we talked about the only place to buy Goldman would probably be at either Friday's close or that pre-market bottom, and that came in perfectly down there at 497, 498. So congratulations anybody that was able to hit that. That looked like a great trade there. But with JP Morgan coming back in, Wells Fargo probably down again today, or is it catching a little bit? So it's actually up today. So maybe it's just JP Morgan that does hit the downside there today in the financials. Robinhood up, Weebull up, SoFi, I don't know what the price was where it closed.
Yuck.
Up still 2%, but yeah, not great there for SoFi. So yeah, good day here. Could always be better, but yeah, we're pretty happy with what we've been doing. We'll just be at like our we did lose early on Apple, which kind of sucks. So we'll just be like at our goal, but could be a lot higher there. Wish that we got that reload of NVIDIA right here at 111.50. Right there. That was the reload that we were looking for. It did not come in. So that was missed opportunity, but we are lighter and lighter on this now. So hopefully we'll be able to take advantage as this market comes to a, not an end, but comes to a halt a little bit now as we're trying to barcode here. Not much happening really right now. We just got back up to highs. We probably should have shorted, but Meta wants red. Yeah, I agree, Jameson. I agree all of that. This is why we're just sitting here. We've got our trades. We've been, our sort of bed's been made today. It's been a good morning. And yeah, we'll go 2 for 3 and just wait to see where we go from there and look for better trades. So that's all we can do, man. Yeah, the markets aren't great right now. So 2 for 3 and a positive day, we'll take it.
Bonkzilla, great look on GDX. I think you're running, well, it was an iceberg in here. At 50, like it was just resistance, resistance. I just pulled it up and immediately saw a refresher, which is probably what you're seeing off Friday's highs. But the metal's been strong. Gold having a decent rally in it today. Just one quick little note. We did take that mean reversion trade on Intel. There's the trend. I mean, it's a simple enough trend line to follow. You just kind of connect the dots, whether it's a 3-minute, probably the 5-minute would do exactly the same thing. But I want to reload it out in front of 2090, anything we can get in the 80s, and then play back into the volume weighted average price. But GLD, you saw GDX in there, that's obviously the gold miners at that high. GLD lagging a little bit, but also at a big resistance spot. Nice little head and shoulder, well, yeah, reverse head and shoulders, I guess is what you would call this, rounded bottom, whatever it might be. But both GLD and GDX looking for a breakout here at about 296 on GLD. Looks like it's trying to go. And then GDX trying to chew through some of those highs. I do still want to try to come back into the trend on Micron and this chip name. It's just bouncing off the volume weighted average price for the first time since I got out of it. Little bit of a trend down. Nice bottoming tail candle. Let's see if it can hold on to 73. Want to buy this one out in front of VWAP. Finally showing a little bit more strength. It's weird to say showing a little bit more strength, being up 5.5%, but it all dropped at the open. Like this was up 7, almost 8 points, and then we dipped down in. Didn't ever go red, and the worst it was maybe 2.5%, 3%. But we're now buyers off the volume weighted average price. If it loses 73, then we wait for where the support came in for good at that 72 level. Rayo shouting about Mara. Mara going a little bit parabolic as Bitcoin just took 85.5 to the upside on, whoops, that's my e-signal chart. Mara, only thing I'm watching for right now is see the trend on Mara underneath the 50-period moving average. I generally like IBIT long and Mara short because I like the miners to the south side. So I always look for the resistance spot, and that's up at $14 here in the 50 period on the daily for Mara. Bitcoin probably runs in that 87 level. At the same time, we get a shot at MARA, but you're still 70 pennies away. You're a ways away, 70 cents away, or 60 cents away from that 14 level. Adara?
Keep an eye here on this US dollar. This is set to be our third straight down day in a row, but maybe trying to hold a little bit of support here. Yesterday's low came in right at around that 99 level. Today's low, about 99.2, so slightly higher low potentially being made here for DXY. We'll be able to hold it, or will we break below? We know tariffs and trade have certainly been on watch within this new administration, especially as of late. We also have China and Vietnam signing here some memorandums of understanding on AI and agricultural trade. So China and Vietnam trying to mend or create some trade fences as we know the current administration going after a lot of these countries with tariffs with regards to trade, especially China. Now, let's talk once again here about this CME FedWatch tool. 82% of participants, so the vast majority, are expecting we're not going to get any change with this May 7th, 2025 meeting, which is now in less than a month away. 18% of participants are expecting a 25 basis point cut, but again, vast majority suggesting we're not going to get any change. However, June, we still have the majority, about 60.5% of participants expecting we're going to get a 25 basis point cut, with another 12% expecting we're going to get a 50 basis point cut. So cuts still seem to be heavily priced in for June. It does not look like we're getting any rate change, though, in May. Make sure to like and subscribe, and back to you.
Right here, let's go, man. We're trying to give you another one, and we'll see if we can do it right now. As Apple comes back in, we take the long, we take some profit. We'll see if Apple can fly to the high side. So here we go again, man. Great trade. We're long right now at 205.69. We just took some more out at 205.90 and change. Yeah, we will. 205.90. All right, Neil, read it.
This section of the show brought to you by ProfitX. If you're looking for unbeatable odds on the biggest games, matches, tournaments, switch to ProfitX's peer-to-peer platform where you set the price. Not one size fits all lines. It's better lines, better prices. Craft your own picking strategy with real-time trading tools. Secure the best odds, track your action, watch your plays come to life. Experience total control at every step of the way. ProfitX, where sports playing is reimagined just like the trading world. Users can use the code TraderTV to get the sign-up offer of 2% cash back up to $300. Obviously, if you liked Rory for the Grand Slam, that would have worked out for you. But you know what? Over at ProfitX, you could have been like DeChambeau. No, I don't think he's going to win at all. You don't have to pick the winner over at ProfitX. You can simply say, I'm not a believer in, I already said DeChambeau out there, one of the favorites that didn't do well. Connors had a great tournament there, Canada, but unable to pull through, unfortunately. But what are you going to do? Like, it was such a battle. Rory's a beast.
Yeah, Rory is the best. It was great. Like I said, one of the better sporting moments you'll see all year. Yesterday's Masters victory for sure. If you missed it, go check it out.
How many people have done the Grand Slam?
6.
Just 6?
All right, what's for lunch? Yeah, just 6, man. And the great Tiger Woods there. Your guy, Gary Player, also has that as well. All right, what's for lunch, man? We've had a lot of segments today. Most people's favorite, what's for lunch? Monday, April the 14th. So what is for lunch today? Could be good. It's marinated chicken, but soy lime marinated chicken. So we'll see. If that can go with vegetable fried rice. Oh, maybe it's a little Chinese action going on here. With wok tossed bok choy. With Asian slaw.
I like the bok choy.
That is what's for lunch. Yeah, so just quickly here. Apple, we will be buying some more down here in and around 205. I'm not dropping this until we break 204. So I want to average into Apple, see if the market wants to go, and see if it's just been one of those down days for Apple. Google keeps on going. Now $2. I'm just going to get out a piece right now. Might as well do that. We've been tweeting this name out all morning. Go follow me at TraderTV Sean, where we've been putting this trade in since we took it. So there it goes. Nice upside play there. NVIDIA still holding on to that dollar, and Adara with something else.
Just be aware here, Donald Trump set to meet here with the president of El Salvador. Coming up, it's supposed to be at 11 a.m. Here is our TTV Research tracker here for Donald Trump. You can find this on X at TTV Research. So again, at 11 a.m., he's going to be greeting the president of El Salvador. It's going to be an open press event. Then at 3 p.m., he's going to be participating in a visit with the Ohio State University, which, of course, won the 2025 College Football National Championship. So beware here, 11 a.m. and 3 p.m., 2 potential times you could get comments from President Trump. There is a stream here with regards to his meeting with the president of El Salvador. I have that in my ear. I'll let you guys know if there's anything market moving or breaking news that comes of that. Back to you.
The Ohio State University said like a true Big Ten fan, very clearly, you love the Big Ten like everybody should. Best conference in all of college sports. Shout out to them. Michigan State, number 1. Wolverines, close number 2. And then Ohio State for me. Minnesota, not bad either. But overall, this market, it's been all green since we made that bottom tail wick at the 19,000 level. I got to get to, we're still trying to go VWAP on Micron. It just hasn't really come back in. But we're bidding out in front of VWAP. But it's IBIT and the crypto names that I haven't traded IBIT today. I haven't traded MAR. We were talking a little bit about MAR looking for that top at $14. Well, Bitcoin is making a bit of a topping tail candle as Mara goes into its first trend break of the day. So it looks like it's going to close this bar with a similar trend break that we have that we're trading on Intel with. So Mara, just sort of prefer it to IBIT in here. If we do close under the trend line, it's in, give to the prior bar high, and hold for VWAP is always the plan. Always going to get some out in front of things like the pre-market high over there on IBIT. So looks like we are going to close this bar red, and we can get the 13, hopefully high 30s would be the entry price for me in here, as the 45 is the current high of the day.
All right, with only 4 minutes left, thank you everybody for watching. I mean, it's been another banger of a day. I know it's been tough for some symbols. Like I said, we've only been in 3 all day there. Obviously, Neil's been in a couple more, and we haven't even traded, but we've been looking at Weebull, so we'll have a look there. You guys have said Meta wants red. I think you're right about that one. Maybe dead red right now, as that's a nice move there. So great call by whomever that was there on Meta. When I was talking about it there, we talked about how strong Google's been, and we take advantage of that. So like there's some more outs there on NVIDIA. We have to watch out because we are going to go long here on the market, which we just did with Apple. So we're going to have to be careful with NVIDIA pulling back into 115.50. I still like that long, and we're still going to drop this if it breaks 111. So an averaged in position. So all right, we'll just go like this. All right, so now we have Apple. So as we just mentioned, we are now reloaded here on Apple. So you can see the sort of price action here that we have. Yeah, that's Apple, my bad. We are long at 205.40. So we're right here right now. It's flat for us, down 10 cents. We can see where it goes from here. But NVIDIA and Apple starting to go down as we do hit VWAP right here. So we'll just give it a second. This could also be a trade that you want to take with the market as well, possibly. The nice pullback into VWAP. I would think that I'm not going to put it on right here. And if these both fail, but VWAP actually works, and I know that we should probably just be in the TQs. I'm not really sure why I'm layering into Apple. I'm starting to rethink life a little bit here because it's been so weak and it's our only losing trade. I just thought Apple had a chance to get going once it made that bottom. And we had actually noted down on here, right on our chat, yeah, sure, why not? On our sticky note, I said, I don't think it gets to 200, but we do have to wait for a level to come. VWAP could in play, wait to give us a clue. So VWAP is definitely not in a play right now. It broke that early right off the open, so we don't have to worry about that. And I thought that maybe, just maybe, this was that signal for us, that we had looked at 204 and change. So we're long, we are hella long right now, trading. Again, I don't have to keep saying it, but everybody has different ideas of share sizes here. This is going to be a good position for me. About 3 units in right now for Apple. I'll go red on this trade if it does break 204. So we're going to wait to see if that does happen. Another average in down there closer to 204. Let's go 204 quarters as our last area to get in. Want to hold this one. I'll hold this one $1 against me because I'm looking for that top break. Let's see if we can make something happen right now. It's been a good day here. Nicely positive for myself. We'll see what winds up happening now with Apple trying to break longer. Thank you to everybody for liking, for subscribing, and make sure you do keep that going.
What are you gonna do now? Simple. Hit the like, subscribe, and share it. It's Trader TV Live. We're here, baby.
Yeah, we're here again for you, baby.
Yeah, 20 seconds to go. It's almost 11 o'clock. There was a big volume spike on Snapchat just now.
Let's go, Apple.
All I will say is it was some sort of speculation or just a couple of people online. I haven't seen anywhere verifying this, but the volume spike had to do with chatter or just brief mentions of Meta being interested in buying them, which no confirmation whatsoever. It came right back into where it was. But if you're wondering why the big volume spike, biggest one of the day, on Snapchat, that's what it was. Still no confirmation for that story, and you'd be seeing continuation. If there was really a deal, you wouldn't just see one volume spike and then come back and a minute later it's trading exactly the way that it was before. So obviously not too much going on there at Snapchat. We'll keep an ear to the ground. If Meta was really buying Snapchat, that would go ham. To the upside. So I'm going to have it up just in case there's any confirmation. Intel, we're still shorting this one into the volume weighted average price. Before we go to the midday, we're going to Adara, I believe, at the desk first.
See you guys.
Have a good swim.
We have some news here. For when I did look into the Snapchat, there's very little social media attention on this. We're talking like a tweet every few minutes and nothing super market moving or super high volume there with regards to SNAP. NVO, though, Novo Nordisk making a bit of a move to the downside. We do have the company warning here of counterfeit Ozempic injections distributed in the U.S. Apparently, the FDA has seized these fake doses, and Novo Nordisk is helping out with the investigation. So NVO on watch here. We also got here the New York Fed inflation expectations. And now we're going to send you over to the Bash Brothers in the midday show.
Bang! Greetings and salutations, beautiful people.